Okay. Are they really going to take porn off Tumblr?
Oh, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But like not.
Why are you worried? You've
I'm not.
saved every image.
Well, who looks fucking crazy now? Who looks crazy now? I have 10 years of fucking beautiful, weird lewd imagery, and you idiots have nothing. I am the squirrel who saved the nuts. You are the octopus who drowned in the lake, or whatever it was. I don't remember how that story went.
Okay. The squirrel who saved his nuts.
Well,
His
no,
nut
that's not what I meant.
works perfect for this analogy.
I'm just saying, for years, everyone I know has been like, it's so weird you do that. Who's laughing now, fuckers? Who's laughing now? And it's not just lewd imagery, it's just any drawing I think is nice.
John does the folders by year.
Mm-hmm. The first one is from 2006.
We've been through this. That's insane. But
It's not insane. I have been absolutely proven how not insane it is. The thing that I was always scared would happen. Can you imagine how much I'd be fucking freaking out right now if I hadn't been doing this?
I guess a lot. But I think you're actually right. I started saving off Flickr photo sets because they're like changing the Flickr rules as well.
Flickr is so good.
So now like you can only save up to 1,000 photos on the free mode and you have to pay for it. So everyone's just deleting their Flickr libraries and there's so many good photos there.
See? Media is ethereal. It's not real unless you make it real. Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss podcast, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the greatest image hoarders. Yeah, look, I haven't been like preparing these in advance the last while. The quality has suffered. I know it.
The greatest data miners?
The greatest data miners in the history of the internet. To my right, master of the Bitcoin. He owns several properties online in the Pirate Bay. It's Long John Silver. Brian, I'm really tired today.
Have I ever done my pirate voice in the podcast?
You cannot do that. That's offensive.
Why is this offensive? To do a pirate's voice.
That is offensive to pirate folk.
I am pirate folk.
I watched a YouTube video recently about how there was actually no pirate accents. That everyone was just doing impressions of that one pirate from, like, Gilligan's Island or something? Treasure Islands?
Probably.
Yeah, because no one knows what pirates sounded like. Or do they? Because to my left, we have Scourge of the Cyber Seas, the Torrent Keeper. It's Neve.
Hi.
That one was better, I thought.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So, for some reason, we all watched Venom.
We sure did.
We sure did. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest films.
This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. This is right up there.
Of ever?
I really don't like saying stuff is like so bad it's good, because I feel like that's like excusing yourself when you shouldn't need to.
It's a solid 6 out of 10 movie.
It's a solid 6 out of 10 movie that's also one of the best films of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. This would be like, I would put this up there with like Street Fighter 2, the live action movie, in terms of just fucking how did this get made? This is so weird and I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a Resident Evil or an Underworld or something like that. Just that specific weird niche that got made and you don't know why and you're so happy it did.
Yeah, like it's so cool. Like this movie already feels like it came out 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
And you're showing it at a party.
And poor Tom Hardy, he is trying so fucking hard.
He's amazing in it.
He's just giving it everything he can and he doesn't have a whole lot to work with, but he's really trying.
But you know how like Venom doesn't show up until about 57 minutes into it? Because I checked, I was like, here's the full CGI Venom.
Yep.
But because it's Tom Hardy working with the material, he's so entertaining to watch that you're not like bored or impatient about the whole thing.
I also think Venom looked fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I thought he looked fine. That's a little my only slight criticism is I thought he looked too skinny.
I thought he was pretty buff.
His legs are tiny. He had little baby legs.
I wasn't looking at the legs. I was looking at that buff ass chest.
He's way more like shredded than the Spider-Man 3 Venom.
You see, the Spider-Man 3 Venom broke my heart because to me, Venom should always be like way bigger and stronger than Spider-Man, and that was just this weird non-Spider-Man
that made raptor noises.
I was disappointed by the other Venom in it.
Riot.
I thought they could have done more to differentiate his design, because when he's in it first, he's in like a low light, and it just looks exactly like Venom.
I think, if they kind of did the chest symbol that Venom usually has or something on Venom to kind of make them look a bit different, but they really just went for black oil monsters on both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the animation on the blobs.
Yeah, they were cool.
Like, they thought about that.
There was a lot of stuff they thought about. So, the person who directed this movie also directed Zombieland.
Oh, fun.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, puts it all... especially, the post-credits ending.
I hate that.
That was amazing.
No, it
Neve,
wasn't. That sucked.
was brilliant.
Why was that brilliant?
Because Carnage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, why are we arguing if you agree?
Well, that's because that's all it was. Just let a movie have an ending, and then when the second movie comes, let it just come. Why did it just have to be like, there's gonna be carnage? It's just like, there's gonna be carnage.
Because now we know Carnage is gonna be in the second movie. And probably what's gonna happen is Tom Hardy and Venom are gonna break up, and Venom's gonna start dating Cletus.
Okay, I thought this movie was gonna be way gayer. I feel like my Twitter timeline kind of lied to me there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, same. Like,
I have seen people refer
scene...
to Venom as a gay movie, and I was like, here we fucking go. It's a pretty straight movie.
The bit where Tom Hardy makes out with Venom,
but he makes out with a sexy girl Venom.
Venom.
He makes out with his ex-girlfriend who is the host in the symbiote.
And even like at the end when she's like talking about the kiss with Venom, she's like saying oh, it was your friend's idea. And even when she's saying that, she really means it was her idea, because like, it wasn't even like, oh, it was just him. Like, it was very specific. I wanted to do it and Venom let me do it kind of thing. I don't know. I was disappointed by that too, but like,
on the subject though, I guess the silver lining of that cloud, I think I'd be kind of cool with dating a giant girl Venom. Like, if she was like 9 foot tall or whatever, I think I could kind of get on board with that.
Yeah, everyone wants a monster wife.
Yeah, it's true. I never considered that kind, like a Venom monster wife. So I'll just add that to the pile.
And the symbiote, so Venom and the whole symbiote thing, they crave a chemical that's in human brains and in chocolate, and that's their
an endorphin.
Yeah. But, like, it's a specific type of endorphin. I can't remember the name of it, but, like, it does actually exist.
Really?
Yeah.
So that could all happen, that entire movie?
Yeah.
Fuck. Man. Yeah, I was so surprised at what a good time I had with it. I liked when that shitty little dog showed up, and you were like, that dog's gonna fucking get it. Because that's the only time anyone puts a Shih Tzu in a movie, when it's like, they want to kill the dog, but they want it to be funny.
That was not a Shih Tzu.
Whatever. They're all once you get to that level of dog, they're all the friggin' same. Like,
it's just some granny
hairy
dog.
and fancy granny dogs.
Yeah, granny dog.
Yeah.
So this is the 5th highest grossing film in the box office of 2018.
Cannot wait for the sequel.
Number 1 is Black Panther. I prefer Venom to Black Panther.
Same.
Yeah.
Black Panther is way too fucking serious for itself. Like, Venom is just, it's like, and
Tom Hardy dove right in that lobster tank.
Yeah. I
love the way his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend just become weirdly invested in Tom Hardy's life.
They're really worried about him because of the lobster.
Like, he has a mental breakdown, and then the doctor, he wakes up and he's in an MRI machine, and he's like, hello, I brought you here. Oh, it was a really fun movie. I had a great time with it.
My girlfriend Rebecca described his appearance as, he looks like Charlie from Always Sunny. Because he's just wearing like this really dirty hoodie.
He's all fucked up.
Yeah. But just that lobster tank bit was amazing.
Yeah. Really, really good.
That was the bit he improvised, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could tell because they cut really hard because they had no idea how to end that scene. Like, wow.
I love Tom Hardy.
He's good. He's an attractive man. I thought so anyway.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a hunk.
Totally.
Inside and outside.
You really didn't like the Carnage bit, Neve?
I just...
Did you study film in college?
Woody Harrelson with hair is just terrible.
Oh, that looked insane.
Like, it looks so bad.
Of all the wigs in that movie, that might have been the second worst.
That's why it was so good, because you knew, like, oh, whoa, that dude's off the chain. Yep. Look at his hair. His name is Cletus.
So I saw another movie.
Yeah.
This one was called Assassination Nation.
Great.
I had to slow it down because I always get it wrong when I say that name fast.
Ass Nation.
The Ass Nation.
It might as well have been. This was a weird movie. Okay, so the whole premise is like... Okay, guys. Social media.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like right now?
Right now.
Whoa, fuck.
But like everywhere.
On your phone?
Dude, in your computer.
I don't know about that.
So it's about like this high school girl, and she's like on social media, everyone is, but then someone starts leaking different people's social media accounts, like, and you know, everyone has weird lewd shit on their social media, and it starts to turn into this like really kind of weird horror movie, because what happens is it's all taking place in this one town, and people just start going fucking ballistic at like discovering how like gross everyone is, and so they start to form like dystopian gangs and ride around the town murdering anyone who's like, I don't know, like deviant. Like
what? So like if you had nudes, you're like up for murder?
I guess it's not if you have nudes, but it's if you have nudes and you sent them to someone's wife or husband.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. This was a really stupid movie, because then the like inciting thing is half the town gets its like stuff leaked and everyone just goes insane. Like full on like walking around suburbia in clown masks with baseball bats, insane.
Who's the main character in this?
This teenage girl who is having an affair with an older man, and her shit gets leaked.
So she's like patient zero. It starts with her.
No, it starts with the people around her, then it happens to her. Do you ever see like a movie and you're like, this is garbage, this was garbage, there were some genuinely cool things here? They actually pulled off the whole kind of social media horror thing really well. Like, midway through the movie, I was like, I need to go home and delete everything, without even any fucking idea that, like, trust me, if my internet history leaked, it would just be a combination of boring and embarrassing with no surprises. You both would fucking guess what's on there.
Yeah.
But even that being the case, I was like, oh my god, I need to get another password manager. I need to fucking figure this shit out, because the film actually did a really good job of like instilling that like panic of everyone knowing your shit, and that was really good. From that point, it kind of fell apart a little bit. It then turns into this weird revenge fantasy, and then just goes down this whole other fucking route, and it sure is a film that was made in Trump-era America. And, okay, this is the kind of film it is. The last line in this film is a meme.
What meme is that? Oh, is that such a major spoiler? I want to know. I'll never watch the movie.
I will tell you off air.
Okay, cool.
But, it genuinely has stuff, and like it's trying to be like kind of Spring Breakers. Like there's a lot of interesting editing and art direction. Cool. A lot of it just kind of feels maybe a bit like it doesn't really serve a purpose. It doesn't like the lighting looks really good. It doesn't like kind of tie into what's happening or anything. But it's
the Baby Driver problem.
Sure, yeah. I haven't seen that, but
Johnny, you would hate Baby Driver.
I know. I think I gotta watch it. And I appreciate it for what it was going for. It also had like just a very just genuine normal depiction of a trans character as one of the girls, and it's trans, and it's just never really it comes into it a little, but never to the point where I felt it was mishandled, which is really surprising because it mishandles about everything else. But Yeah, I don't know. If you want a fucking weird ass teenage movie that, this is never going to go down in like as a great horror movie, but it is interesting because I do feel like social media horror is kind of becoming its own subgenre, and I think that's exciting because horror subgenres are weird and interesting. And yeah, if you want a weird time, it's all right. It's got some interesting stuff.
I like the idea that it's a reflection of social fears.
It is.
Like all good horror should be.
It is the kind of movie where it's like, yep, that's a 2018 movie, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But, Brian.
Yes.
You've been spooking it up a little bit too.
Oh, yeah, always.
Okay, good stuff. Neve, tell us about Wolverine the Long... Brian, why don't you tell us about Suspiria 2018?
Suspiria. This is a remake of a film that was also called Suspiria that came out in the late 70s. A film which I have not seen and I've been planning to see, but instead I saw the remake.
It's very good.
I've heard great things. I've heard it's a very important film that influenced a lot of stuff that we like.
It did Neon before it was in.
Woo! Because that shit's everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Suspiria 2018, from what I know, is a remake in which they have taken a lot of creative liberties from the source film and gone in a completely different direction. And it's a film I cannot recommend at all. I really enjoyed it, but I don't want to be responsible for anyone watching this film.
Why?
Because it's really art wanky.
Yeah, the first one is art wanky too.
Okay, then I don't know. I really, really, really like this film. Don't watch it. Do watch it. Just
if you like good like classic horror, I feel like that's a how do you? I get what you mean, but I don't know. Like, I don't feel like we should say we shouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. So like, this film is about a girl from Cincinnati, she's from Ohio. And she comes to a dance academy, a very famous European dance academy in Berlin in the 70s, when the Berlin Wall was still up. And you kind of need to know a bit of Berlin Wall history and the Baader Meinhof prisoners and that whole kind of agenda, because that kind of plays into the backdrop of it.
What's no? It's a fucking wall, Brian. Come on.
And... so she joins the dance academy, and it's an all-women's dance academy, and things are not what they seem. But, like, there'll be scenes in this movie where they're using the sound from one scene and using the visuals from another scene and have one on top of the other, and that's the context.
That messes me up when films do that.
Yeah.
I get real thrown.
Because there's lots of details in this film where it's like, they have subplots that I guess are brand new to the film, or compared to the original, but they want to tell a bigger story than just the synopsis, which is really cool. The horror elements to it are really fucking something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they go all out with visual effects and everything. It's really surreal looking at times. It was pretty fucking rad.
So are we talking ghosts? We talking killers? Ghost killers? Ghost-faced killers, maybe?
Witches.
I like witches.
And, summonings and, that kind of stuff. The color red is everywhere.
Neve lent me a book on, like women in horror stuff. Witches are fucked up. Done some awful things. Had everything coming.
I'm glad that was the takeaway.
Yep. Just man, women. What a spooky creature.
The actual dancing in this film is also fantastic.
Oh yeah?
Because sometimes you watch these movies and one of the core elements of it is just not working for it. I'm sorry to backpedal, but you know how there was the Detective Pikachu announcement 2 weeks ago or whatever? I'm cool if that's actually a good film noir detective movie, because it needs to have that core to it, because Suspiria is a dance movie and the dance in this movie is really good.
So if you like the dancing, if you're into the dancing, this will be an entertaining movie.
If you like You've Got Served, you will love this film.
Okay.
Not where I thought we were going with this one.
How about Save the Last Dance?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very similar vibe.
Exist in the same cinematic universe.
Yeah, it's just a really fucking weird film. I didn't know what to expect watching it, but I came out really enjoying it and being like, what the fuck was that about?
Is it one of those films where you're like, yeah, I think I like that, but then you keep thinking about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, the story is kind of experimental, but, like, it's pretty straightforward if you kind of piece all the elements together. You kind of go, oh, okay, I get the narrative.
Witches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of with the first one as well. Like, it's a straightforward plot, but there's some weird shit that happens in between.
Yeah.
But there's no overarching mystery. There's just kind of like, it's there and it happened, and that's fucked. You're like, okay. And I like that about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the cast was really good. The main girl is the girl from the 50 Shades movies, and I'm so glad that she's in other projects.
I like her.
Yeah, she's fantastic in this movie. And then Tilda Swinton is amazing. Holy shit.
I love when Tilda Swinton's in something, except for Doctor Strange, but...
It's the ancient one.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, what was she thinking?
She's thinking Marvel money.
Yeah.
I think my favorite Tilda Swinton movie or like role of recent years is Trainwreck, which is a film I don't really like, but Tilda Swinton's in it, and she does not look like a typical Tilda Swinton character.
Is John Cena in Trainwreck?
Oh yeah, they're all in it because it's a Judd Apatow movie.
John Cena, what was he thinking?
That John Apatow money.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, you enjoyed Suspiria, Brian?
Yes, don't watch it. Do
Perfect.
Do.
If you think you'd like Suspiria, you'll probably like it. If you don't think you'll like it, you probably won't.
Yeah, it is an acquired taste. You need to be in the mood. You will hate it. You will love it.
Neve, tell us about Wolverine the Long Night.
Something I hated and loved, but mostly hated, is Wolverine the Long Night. So the Wolverine the Long Night is a audio play.
Oh
What
yeah,
the
I know this
fuck?
one. I've heard. I think
Giant Bomb did
Yeah.
advertisements. This was advertised on a lot of podcasts, not our one, but
Okay, sorry.
go on.
If we were to do advertisements on this podcast, what kind of advertisements would we do?
Squarespace.
Because I do you ever hear those like male testosterone advertisements?
Oh, can we do that? But I do the ad.
Yep.
Can we do
But
stamps.com?
my favorite bit about the male test, like the kind of, I think like alpha, I don't know. Alpha
My
brain-
testicles are
Yeah,
huge now.
But at the end of them, they always say this thing: if effects are too extreme, please lower dosage. And it's like, that's such a thing where it's like, I want extreme effects. Oh man, can you imagine if it was so extreme and I was just getting really jacked? I wouldn't even lower the dosage.
That's so weird as well, because it's like, can you not take the headaches and the shitting?
Yeah.
Can you not take the side effects? Not extreme enough.
What would you like to sponsor the podcast, Brian?
Lisa mattresses.
Oh fuck yeah!
We can't get them here.
No, we can't. We can't. Like, pretty much all, like, stamps.com is useless to us because we're not part of the
Can't get that
American
here.
postal system.
Yeah.
Can we do some fucking Little Apron shit or
No.
Blue Apron, whatever that fucking
They're
thing
not
is?
here either.
Can we just do...
I don't think we need to be in a country to have them.
I want to be able to, like, if we can't endorse it, like, if my balls don't get big, then I want to.
She wants them big.
Okay, well, like, the good news, guys, is I actually do have these beautiful canvas bags for Fallout 76. Neve, I am so sorry. Please
It's
tell
okay,
us
that
about
was
Wolverine
important.
the Long Night.
So Wolverine was advertised on a lot of podcasts, and I was just like, I'm going to squirrel that away until a rainy day to listen to. And my rainy day happened, and I had a lot of time to listen to a podcast. And this is a 10-episode series. It's a Marvel Stitcher joint, but you don't have to sign up to Stitcher, thank God, to listen to it. You can just listen to it on the WolverineTheLongNight.com website for free. It is so weird. This is the first audio production Marvel has done since 1974, when they did a Fantastic Four one.
I'd like to listen to that.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to go back and listen to that. It sounds really interesting.
And does this have atmosphere and sound effects and everything?
Yes.
So it's like a radio play.
Yeah, so the good aspects of this is the voice acting is amazing. They got Richard Armitage to do the voice of Wolverine.
Oh, that's so good.
And he's been a popular fan cast for Wolverine for a really long time. I don't know why. He's literally just Hugh Jackman, but slightly tweaked a little.
He plays Thor and Oakenshield
Yeah.
in the
Sounds
Hobbit
pretty good
movies.
to me.
And I think he played Dracula in Dracula Untold or something like that.
I can never think of Hugh Jackman without thinking of movie 43.
What's 43?
Was it 43?
Movie 43. It was one of those, like...
He did this skit where like the joke of the scene was that he's like the perfect man, but he has balls on his neck. Jesus, Neve.
I think you'd like it, actually.
There's also a bit where Seth Rogen gets hit by a car.
No, that's Chris Pratt, and he shits himself.
Chris Pratt.
What the hell?
Really? Chris Pratt? Yeah, Chris Pratt. He gets hit by a car, but he's on a date with a girl, and he doesn't want to poo. And so then the car hits him, and he like explodes and shit. I don't know why I dislike this movie. This is pretty good.
Okay, haven't seen that. But Richard Armitage does the voice of Wolverine.
I'm so sorry, Neve.
The voice acting is amazing. It's got a really, really extensive cast. He's the big name in it, so they go Richard Armitage as Wolverine. But in a very Shane Dawson-esque move, in this 10-episode series, Wolverine isn't introduced as a character until episode 8. And I was like, great. So that wasn't great.
And then does Wolverine talk about literally nothing, and there's no drama, and it doesn't finish anything?
Pretty much.
Okay, awesome.
A real good Wolverine story, wow.
So the sound design really good, voice acting, and the sound design, like, they'll go into a shop, there'll be door noises, they'll do like phone conversations and you'll hear phone static, there'll be like there's a lot of work gone into the Foley design and sound design of the whole thing. The story is terrible. Like, it's just so awful. Like, it's so crap and boring. It's about 2 FBI agents come to Alaska because a shipping tanker, all its crew was found murdered and eviscerated. Their arms sliced off. They're just in bits, as if a Wolverine may have killed them. So they are...
Wait a minute.
So they are, like, in Alaska trying to find out what happened to these people. Also, what's happening in the meantime is 2 women have gone missing. Not missing, sorry. 2 women were dead. Same type of injuries. So they're looking for this stranger who came to town. He went by the name Logan.
Wait. Oh, no, sorry. I thought I had something, but I don't know.
And there's also a cult in the town.
Logan Paul.
Shane, it's all come...
So, like, this sounds like an interesting premise. Like, there's a mystery there.
I love weird shit small town. That's my favorite genre of fiction.
So these FBI agents will be in the car and they have like a deputy who's like long and he's a little green, and they'll listen to like over the radio will be taken over by the cults, and they'll be talking about their, like, you know, the long night is coming, and it's called Wolverine the Long Night. So you're kind of built up with this mystery of the cult and stuff. None of it goes anywhere. Like, it just doesn't. It's all a bunch of red herrings. And the characterization of Wolverine is the worst version of Wolverine. I love him as a character. I absolutely hate this version of Wolverine. What
thing's wrong with him?
He's a terrorist.
No.
There you go.
Wolverine's a soldier that takes orders.
Not in this. He's not a soldier for anyone. He's just living in Alaska trying to mind his own business, but for some reason just takes a vendetta out against a family there. And like, Wolverine will kill and hurt people, but Wolverine is also like a blue collar worker kind of guy. He takes work, he gets paid, that's what he does, and he has respect for that type of person because that's who he is. In this, he literally blows up a lumber mill, and there's this guy gets like splints in his eyes and his legs blown off, and someone's like, whoa, this is so fucked up, and Wolverine's like, anyone who belongs to them dies. And it's like, that is not something Wolverine would ever do. Like, absolutely not. So I checked the writer of this, and his name is Benjamin Percy. He has never written Wolverine. He's never written for Marvel before. He's written some DC comics, specifically Green Arrow and Nightwing.
DC, puh.
Which, like, fine. But, like, it's just, like, I don't know why they would get someone to write Wolverine who doesn't get a lot of his character. And then apart from the terrorist aspect, he's just a boring asshole. He just kind of monologues about how tortured he is all the time. And that's all we get of Wolverine, and Richard Armitage's really great voice as him. So I was like, oh, cool. And then the kind of mystery with the FBI agents at the start, they're really, really unlikable, and they're the main characters for the full 10 episodes. And in the first episode, you at least I did, I was like, I know where this is going. And then by the 10th episode, it went exactly there. You can figure out exactly what's going to happen in this. So it's 4.5 hours, 10 episodes. The sound design is good. The audio is good. The story is not good.
What would you say is your least favorite podcast you've ever listened to?
Well, this one's fresh.
Yeah. Because I don't know I'm ever going to recover from The Habitat.
Oh, The Habitat sucks so bad. That was so boring.
Piece of
Yeah,
shit.
no, this is entertaining enough. Like if you just for all the work that's gone into it.
So it's entertaining. It's not like a good depiction of Wolverine.
It's like you buy like 5 Wolverine comics, you read 4 and the stories are good, and then you have that one and you're like, well, that was kind of a shitty comic story, and like you don't really think about it because it's just, it's another one of the long line of good and bad comic stories. It kind of feels like that.
Sold.
It's like, yeah, they're doing a season 2 and Wolverine is like, I think I need to go to Japan. And
whoa,
a lot of interesting storylines happen in Japan. I hope they have a different writer, but maybe they won't. So we'll see where that goes.
Interesting.
It's free. Maybe you should listen to it.
Time has value too. I watched Castlevania season 2.
Is it amazing?
I watched the first season of Castlevania when it came out, and I liked it. I thought it was better than I thought it would have been. Like when you hear Netflix adaptation of a video game property, you're like, well, this will be bad. And I didn't think it was. I thought it was really serviceable entertainments. Like I watched those 4 episodes and I really enjoyed them. I was really curious how season 2 would go because the first 4 episodes of Castlevania were such setup. It was such like, hey, this is these characters, this is what they're about, and this is where the plot's going to go. We're not actually going to go there, but here you are. And so like it, shows can change a lot then when the plot actually gets going. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed this series. It's very different than how I thought it would be, because in season 1 it's nearly all focused on the Belmonts, Alucard, and Cypher, the girl. It's pretty much just them kind of coming together. There's still a lot of them in season 2, but it's much more aimed at Dracula's court. So basically, a bunch of asshole vampires all trying to fuck each other over.
Love it.
And I've seen people kind of compare it to like Game of Thrones and stuff, and with a grain of salt, totally, that is totally what it feels like. There's all these characters with different motivations, and I thought a lot of them were really interesting and like surprisingly well done. Like at the start of it, there's this vampire called Godbrand, and Godbrand is like a Viking vampire, and he's just like a fucking idiot. And he comes into the Dracula's court and he's like, well, I want to fucking kill all the humans. And you're like, okay, he's this guy. Like he's this dumb asshole. And then he gets into a fight with one of Dracula's other generals, and you're like, okay, yeah, I know where this is going. But then there's like a scene, 2 scenes later, where Godbrand comes along and he's like, hey, look, I'm really sorry about that. And you're like, what? And it's like, just the characters all have like a little bit more going on than you would assume they would. And I think Dracula is a really interesting character in it. He's like, this is like Dracula kind of towards the end of his life, marries a human woman, super happy with her. He like teaches her like a lot of kind of weird science and all this kind of stuff, and she's teaching him not to be like a total asshole. And she sends him away to go on this big journey where he can learn that humanity's actually not so bad, but while he's away, the church fucking kill her. And that pushes Dracula to start this war against the humans, and he wants to pretty much wipe them off the face of the planet. I really like Dracula in this. The voice actor is really, really super good, and he's always like really imposing. And like, when he walks into a room, all the other vampires like go quiet and shit their pants because that's how scary he is. But then like there's this other vampire comes into it who I really, really like, and she's this like countess, this like vampire royalty, and like she walks into court and straight away, like in front of everyone, she's like, hey Dracula, why didn't you turn your dumb human wife into a vampire and stop her dying? And everyone's like, and like,
she's got you there.
The way she kind of manipulates the situation is really, really interesting. So it is this kind of cool, like, I guess, kind of political positioning for a lot of it, and I was really into that aspect of it. Back to the story with like the heroes, Alucard, Cypher, and Belmonts, like I found that less interesting, just because I kind of like, I feel like I've seen this trio before, and they're good, like, and the writing's good, and like some of the language is like, it's poetic in a way that wasn't really cloying. It like was like, oh yeah, that is an interesting way to put that character's state of mind. I was always like, get back to the vampires whenever it cut to these guys, but they were still not bad. They were still pretty good. The show looks nice. The animation is very limited, like more so than even like kind of some anime you'd see. And there's a lot of scenes where like there's, you know, a beautifully drawn key drawing, but they are not going to cut away from that key drawing because they've spent a long time working on it. So you'll get like very few frames in some scenes. The upside is that when they need to pull out the good action animation, it's totally there and it works. I am towards the end of this series. I haven't finished it yet. I have really been enjoying it. It's the first animated show I've watched in a while that, like, when it's over, I'm like, oh shit, was that 25 minutes? You know, that kind of way. So, I don't know. I think if this would be the kind of show where it's like holidays are coming up. If you want something kind of chilled and fun and just kind of cool, I would recommend this show.
Sexy vampire court.
There is a lot of vampires in it, Neve, that I feel would be very your aesthetic.
Mwah.
Yeah, it's just like very tall, kind of limber, pale vampires.
Love it.
Yep.
Neve, would you like to be a vampire?
Okay, let's do this. Vampires. Are we going this way?
Yeah, let's.
I think wasn't that the whole thing that you can classify people as vampires or werewolves?
Yeah.
Brian's clearly a werewolf. I'm a vampire.
I don't want to be a werewolf.
You literally have a beard.
I'm shaving my beard tomorrow.
Doesn't matter. You're a werewolf.
Okay, what's the criteria?
Just general vibe. Like, you know when someone's a vampire and you know when someone's a werewolf.
I don't think I'm a vampire.
No, you're a vampire who was raised by werewolves.
No, John has really hairy legs.
Okay, he's a werewolf raised by vampires because he's a little goth.
How about our girlfriends?
Oh, my girlfriend's my Rebecca werewolf. Your
I would
Rebecca.
put her as vampire.
Yeah, you'd think so, but no.
She's too fluffy. She's a really fluffy hair.
You're Rebecca vampire. Michelle could go either way, much like you.
A hybrid?
Yeah.
Good lord. Interesting.
No one cared about that but us. But okay.
Oh, the real hardcore cared.
You know what?
Like, you know the people who know the members of the boss cast, but then they also know the secret extended boss cast?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking see you people on the Discord. You people are sick.
Do that with your friends. Like,
Yeah,
classify
yeah,
them
it's a
as
fun
werewolf,
game.
as vampires, and see who gets pissed off. Will always be the person who gets called a werewolf.
There are other people like who we're friends with who are going to be listening to this and are going to be like, Brian, what am I? And I'm going to have to be like, you're a werewolf.
Do you know what's a real... Do you know what you could just be like? Oh, you're just a regular person.
Or like a mummy.
You're a Frankenstein.
No!
Oh.
You're just an invisible man.
It's good that we're teaching people how to hurt other people's feelings. I feel like the world needs more of that. I think the internet is too nice.
The world needs more bullies.
Yeah, it really does. Definitely. Let's move into strategy talk. Alright. Real quick. I beat the Quiet Man.
I saw your Instagram play.
Yeah.
Did you guys have fun?
You should check out at Let's Fight a Boss on Instagram. We have some of the gameplay documented there. Because John and I were both playing it, but John beat the game and I sat there and watched
I'm very
it.
good at video games.
John, can you tell everyone what happened when you beat the game?
No! Okay. Yes, I can. But in terms of what actually happened during the course of that fucking... I have no idea. I think I know less about that plot, like, at the end of the game than I did 20 minutes into it. Like, I think I unlearned things.
This is only the silent version as well that you've...
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to play the sound version. I want to get the fucking... What, is it subtitles or sound?
It's just they speak.
Okay, I want to get that version. But the way the Quiet Man works is that there's no save points.
No.
You have to start at one of 6 chapter points throughout the game. The last chapter point takes about an hour to get through. So I beat this fucking game, and my God, some of those last sections are a chore to play through. Brian, I felt like we were playing that for about 4 hours. And I know that's not how long it is, but it felt like that.
The bit where you were punching the guy in the dick and he was just ragdolling for like 2 fucking minutes.
Oh.
It stopped being funny and then it started being funny again.
Yeah, just like all good jokes. But so then anyway, like I'm like, oh, maybe we'll do something with this. Like maybe we'll play the sound version with Neve or something. But then get to the end of the fucking game, it crashes.
So your save is
My
gone?
save is gone.
It crashes during the end credits and John didn't get the trophy.
My PS4 is like, no, you didn't beat it.
No.
Yep.
Oh, that last chapter sucks as well.
So, and when the person under the mask is revealed, I was like, are you fucking serious?
It's the Quiet Man.
Did you like your Quiet Man final form?
Sure.
That was cool, with the bullets.
If that was in a different game, yeah, that would have been cool.
I like how the end fight, you basically have 2 moves, and you just do the spin kick over and over to get through everyone, because it's the one that takes the least amount of time.
Yep.
When I was playing with John, I replayed through chapters 1 and 2, and we found that you fight the quiet Birdman guy in the car park.
Oh my god!
But
Did we record any of that?
A tiny bit, but like we found at one of the corners of the car park, the enemy AI stopped working, so we'd lure him there and just beat the shit out of him. But then we were like, no, let's just walk around him, and he'd just start like trying to walk, but he couldn't walk properly, so he'd just sort of like T-pose his way out of there. It was really cool.
It was really cool. We also made up a voice for the Birdman.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
It was kind of like...
it was like a raven, so it was like...
You and me, Quiet Man! We're birds of a feather!
I'll take you under my wing! Nevermore!
So it was just a load of bird puns.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I'd say a good 22 minutes of that.
I'll rustle your feathers, Quiet Man! And so on and so forth. I think we nearly got a noise complaint.
Yeah, I think so. It's fucking worth it, though.
This is... I'm still not convinced this is a real game, and I've played it.
No, I'm less convinced now. I remember last episode, I was like, no, Brian, it is. I'm not sure.
Can we recommend this game to anyone?
No.
Not even as a joke.
No, like, I'm trying to think, like, what's a really good, bad game? Like Resident Evil 6, maybe? You like that, Brian?
Yeah, that game's...
6 is fun.
Yeah, but it's not good.
No.
It's a load of shite.
I'm trying to think, what else?
Just like some wrestling game.
Well, WWE No Mercy for the N64 is one of the greatest games of all time, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about there.
Yeah, you know.
Wrestling's art.
It's just a bad game. And like you can spend €15 on so much more.
You could spend €15 on 3 games. I bought Titanfall 2 for like €6 recently.
Fuck yeah.
Guess I know what I'm doing over Christmas.
That game is...
Playing Binding of Isaac.
Oh dear.
I know.
Just play any game but The Quiet Man.
Yeah, I sure don't recommend that game. Brian, would you recommend Save Mr. Tako?
Save me, Mr. Tako.
Save me, Mr. Tako.
I would, but only if you meet a few certain requirements. Save Me, Mr. Tako is a game that I think is on Steam and on Switch. I played the Switch version, and it is a game made by one person who is 24 years old now and started developing it when he was 19, which is a fucking achievement right there.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, that is really impressive.
Another person did the music, and I think that's the entire credits list. And it's a little platformer game where you play as an octopus called Mr. Tako, and Tako is Japanese for octopus because of takoyaki, and he looks like a kind of chibi octopus that you would see in Osaka. And it's a platformer in the same kind of vein as the Kirby games or maybe Mario Land 2, and it nails the Game Boy nostalgia 100%.
Yeah, Brian showed me a bit of this, and it is beautiful.
Yeah, like,
it looks so cool.
Yeah, like, I love the sprite art, I love the music, I love like the setup visually, and You can use the shoulder buttons to cycle through all the colors, but all the color schemes are the ones that you get when you put a Game Boy into the Super Game Boy, or when you put a Game Boy into the Game Boy Color, and you hold down and B or up and A, and it'll give you one of 16 color combinations, I think. And so one of them is the inverted color, one of them is like basic grayscale, one of them is like a green tinted, or one's kind of like a rhubarb and custard kind of color scheme. It's really, really cool. And you can choose to play it in Forest the Tree with a border around the side, and one of the borders is a Game Boy border, but it's not a Game Boy, but it is.
Some of those palettes are beautiful.
Yeah. The only kind of downside to the game is that as a video game, it's quite underdeveloped.
That's a pretty big downside to a video game.
Yeah. So, like, you'll see screenshots of this and you'll be like, wow. But then when you play it, you're like, no.
I think even like the video stuff, I was like, this looks rad.
Yeah.
But, like, here's my defining experience I had with this game. I was like, Brian, you'd kind of talked to me about this before, and I'd watched some trailers, and I was like, this looks really fucking cool. I think I might buy this. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold off and let Brian see what he thinks. And Brian, like, you're considering how strong the aesthetic of this game is, like, up your alley, you're still kind of lukewarm on this game.
Oh, yeah. Just because the gameplay is not doing anything to help it.
So the lukewarm, the aesthetic is, like, less up my alley, but I still really super appreciate it. Like, it's incredibly cute. But, like, I put hands on this game, I pressed jump once, and I went, oh no.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
doesn't
I think
feel good
this
at all.
Game
No.
controls very poorly.
Like, you do eventually get used to the controls and how he plays. He kind of plays floaty like Kirby does, and I think that's what they're going for.
But I feel like Kirby has a weight to him, you know? Like,
Yeah,
even
he
floating,
does.
Kirby has a kind of momentum, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, because the way the octopus jumps is that he jumps, but if you hold it down long enough, you can kind of cheese his jump a little bit, so you can kind of go over obstacles up high that you're not meant to go over.
Yeah, and there's so much hang time. Like, when you jump, you're in the air for so long.
Yeah, but I think like the big downside to me is that as a platformer with levels, it's kind of lacking. So the first world area is underwater, and then the second world area is boats in the seaside village, and then you get to the forest, and so on and so forth. And so they're all kind of different to each other, but the individual levels is just repeat assets a lot of the time.
Oh.
And so you're like, what's this level teaching me, or how is this different to the previous level I just played? And usually it isn't. You're just going across platforms, and there's enemy placement. Sometimes there's thought put into the enemy placement, sometimes there's not. The music is usually the same in each level. I used to do a trick where I would cycle through the color palettes so that I would change the color of each level so that I could tell it apart mentally and visually, because there was no context for me to be like, is this a new level or not?
I think it's cool you can do that. I think it's lame you had to do that.
Yeah. It's just there's no level design. Well, like there is level design in some of the levels, and there are like levels I can remember in that game that I liked, but it's padded out with like nothing levels.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disappointing.
And, you know, I feel kind of bad as well because, like, one dude made this.
Yeah.
You know, and that is really fucking impressive. Like even if someone makes a garbage video game, I'm kind of amazed, like, anyone can get to the end of it. This is totally not a garbage video game.
No.
But it's kind of hard to look at it and not notice how mismatched the level of polish in the visuals is to the level of actual, like, game design. Like,
Yeah.
This is not a fun game to play.
No.
It's like with like animation, even like one person can do an amazing job, but sometimes there's a reason why most of these things are collaborative efforts. Like if he had someone else there, like doing level design with that level of aesthetic or something,
Yeah, like,
you know.
like it doesn't really feel like it was play tested that much, because there's things where it's like there's a lot of leaps of faith you have to take, but then like a lot of Game Boy games back then, like 25-30 years ago, are kind of just, they're not designed well. Like
No,
outside of
they're
something, outside of Capcom and Nintendo, a lot of the other like, you know, weird third-party developers that just like opened and shut down in the early 90s just made these weird games.
Yeah, and they'd be like 2 hours long, and so to curb that, the developers just made them obscenely hard.
Yeah, just had these weird difficulties, right? And that's what this game feels like, because this game gets crazy fucking hard in the second half, just for no reason. But like, I do think if you're curious and if you look at the visuals, you know right away if this game is for you or not. I am really looking forward to whatever the developer makes next, because this game can only go in one direction, or the whole aesthetic can only go in one direction.
Yeah, totally.
And like
you should work in a team.
Yeah, I really, really wish I loved this game, but unfortunately I don't. But
how much was it?
I think I paid like on less than a tenner for it.
Okay, that's not so bad.
That's not
no. It's fine.
I played an indie platformer also. I played Celeste.
The indie platformer.
Yeah.
So
the game of the generation.
I was talking to you guys about this before, and I was like, played about an hour of Celeste. It's pretty alright. It's fine. It's an indie platformer. You know what to expect. I have now beaten Celeste. That's one of my favorite games of the year. Probably not the favorite. I had issues with it, but it is a lot more than I initially thought it was. The way you have two mechanics in this game. You have jump and you have boost. That's it. So like you can jump in the air, then you can do an 8-way directional dash any way you want. They get so creative with how you have to use... Oh, you can wall jump as well. They get so creative with how you can use this stuff that it's like... It kind of turns into the thing where it's like it is a real test of your kind of platforming abilities. Like there's a lot of precision jumping, but it's also kind of a puzzle. So sometimes you'll walk into a room and you're like, okay, I need to get from here to here. How the fuck do I do that? And then you break down each little part of the level and you're like, okay, if I climb here, if I do this and I do this and I do this. And it's so satisfying and it controls so well. Like I think I played some Celeste when you left, Brian, after playing Mr. Tako. I was like, oh, that's better.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a really great little game. And like what really caught me off guard, it's beautiful as well. It has like some really gorgeous pixel backgrounds. There's one in particular, I think it's the third or the fourth stage, and it's like this kind of pixel sunset, and it's just beautiful. And it doesn't look retro. Like it's not, I don't think it's going for a retro feel. It's just good pixel art. And the only thing with the aesthetic is it's like the pixel art is done by one person, the character portraits are done by someone else. The two styles really clash. So like the character portraits, which is what like a lot of the story stuff, it's very kind of vectory and very polished. And I think it would have been cool to see the kind of pixel aesthetic in the kind of main cutscenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they made the decision.
A little odd. Text font, little fucking basic. Super pedantic criticism, but it bothered me.
I think that's a fair criticism, especially if it's difficult to read.
It wasn't difficult to read, it just took me out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the font not pixelated?
No.
So it's vectorized font.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
With the vectorized artwork. Yeah, it's little bits like that kind of tip you off that this is from a small team, you know. But the story was really cool. Like it's kind of about like sort of like depression and anxiety, and basically this girl's like kind of fucked up her whole life, and you don't ever really learn the specifics of how she has, and I kind of like it that way. But there's just a few cutscenes where it's very much like she's kind of talking to like people in her mind, and they've kind of like abandoned her because they're kind of sick of her garbage. And so this kind of like climbing of the mountain is this kind of like kind of redemption thing for her, like her just trying to get her shit together. And then she meets another guy called Theo, and kind of he's really, really cool, but he kind of has his own stuff going on as well, and you get little insights into what that is as well. And it's actually like, despite how gameplay heavy this is, I was enjoying the story so much. Every time a new cutscene came along, I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And that lasted right up until I'd say like the final third of the game. And from there, I think it maybe gets a little heavy-handed with its metaphors, especially in regards like mental illness and stuff. And like I still thought it was well handled. It was just very like, yep, this is one of those stories about mental illness. Like there's kind of just some kind of cliches in there that I've kind of seen before, and I don't think they're that effective. But I think where it really triumphs is in that last bit, is how it kind of marries like the emotional advancement of Madeline, the character, and her gameplay mechanics. They introduced some stuff much later into the game, and they were actually pretty basic, But because of how integrated they were into the story, I was like, oh fuck, I can do this? And it was really interesting and changed the game up in some really interesting ways. Really good difficulty level nearly all the way through the game. I could sit down for an hour and just get through a chapter and felt really satisfied with it. Like, it's that kind of game. And it spikes quite hard towards the last stretch in a way that I kind of stopped being into. But this is also a game for like people who are really into their precision platforming. Like, there's so much extra content after the main game that you can do, and I didn't pursue any of it because I didn't care. But this was a really great surprise, and I think a lot of the acclaim that has been heaped onto this game is well deserved.
The music is really, really good too.
Music's fantastic.
Because I watched you play a little bit, and it nails atmosphere visually and in terms of audio as well. Yeah,
a super rewarding experience, and I'm really glad I played it. If you have like any affection for platformers, you should definitely get this game. But even if you're just curious and you see it on sale, totally worth it. Neve, tell us about Red Dead Redemption Online. The internet, the final frontier. Wait, is the Wild West the final frontier, or is that space?
That was space.
Ah, bollocks!
Wild West is like the first frontier.
Okay, go on. It doesn't fucking matter now, Neve. Go on.
I made a character for Red Dead Online. I tried to call her Fanny McGee.
Yeah.
A good old Irish name. It got profanity checked all throughout it, despite Fanny being a real name.
No, Fanny McGee. They did their...
Yeah, like...
I would not...
McGee band, Fanny with a Y band, Fanny with an I.
That's banned.
A-okay. No, I got like, my character's just called Fanny with an I because Fanny McGee just would not work. So bullshit, first off. But I made my character. The character creator is okay. Like, you're going to make an ugly looking fucker. And even if you make a good looking character, they're only good looking at certain angles.
I find nearly every character in Red Dead is like that. They're all kind of hideous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Like, there's some teat options in this, and only one of them is a full set of chompers, and it's called the chompers, and that looks more disturbing than having no teat. So I met Fanny, and I went into the world, and the cool stuff about exploring Red Dead as Arthur, it sometimes, like, it felt like the world was kind of revolving around him a little. When you go in as your own character, it feels so different. It feels so unsafe. You don't have you have a camp.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But you don't have a gang, you're alone and there's people there. And, like, that was really interesting. So when I took out a fort and I met another player there and he was sitting down at the fire. So I sat down at the fire with him and we ate together and he started, like, gesturing at me to follow him. So I followed him for about 10 minutes and we were just riding our horses. And it looks just as good online as it does in single player, so it was amazing just to kind of meet this guy and kind of like ride with him. Then he rode his horse like straight off a canyon. just went
by like on purpose.
I think it was on purpose. I think he just wanted to ride for 10 minutes to the end of the earth kind of thing. And I just like whoa my horse and I was just like, no buddy.
That's what you get for reaching out to someone.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm gonna die. It's like I think that game is going to be very fun. It's in beta right now, but anyone who has the game can play it, so it's an open beta. It seems very beta. Like, the economy is fucked, and as of recording this, I just read an article today about them going to fix the economy, but it is nuts. I spent like 8 hours playing and made about $10. Your camp automatically charges you 75 cents, like, every few hours or something for upkeep and maintenance, and your horse as well. You need a horse, like, you need to get horse insurance, because if your horse dies, you'll be fucked, and horse insurance is expensive. You get a free one to start with, but, like, in the first hour, like, some bandits just shot my horse and died, so I had to, like, revive my horse. So if that happens in the game, you're probably going to end up buying it with real money, because the economy right now takes so long to make money. So I made my $10. I went to the shop and I bought a new shirt for Fanny and I bought her a hat and she was looking pretty good. But that was my $10 gone, and I bought some beans. And you still need to eat, and you still like to, and you'll have like a slight advantages in your stamina and stuff. So you still need to eat. You still need to do all these things. It felt a bit like a job. Like it felt like, oh shit, I've all this upkeep, I've all this maintenance. I want to buy a shirt. Can I afford a shirt? And that felt really like.
What happens if you can't pay your camp?
I don't know. I didn't get to that stage. It was only 75. Maybe they'll go into minus numbers and it'll just deduct from what you make.
Right.
I'd say that's what it is, because you need your camp, because there's a main mission thread, so that's kind of cool to get like more kind of narrative, even if it's in an online capacity. And when you do your main mission, like say there will be necessary 4 people, it'll stick you in with 3 randos if you aren't playing with anyone. The first time I did the mission, it was stealing horses, and it was to get your first horse in it. Went terribly. Like one guy was just a dickhead, and he was just fucking around, and we kept losing and kept dying because one guy was just messing around, and that was like a waste of an hour. Second time I played it was great. Everyone played perfect. Everyone had a lot of fun, and it was good. So there's this a bit of like there's a bit of a worry sometimes how people are going to act, because Red Dead's so slow.
Yeah.
See, we made all our way to the the barn. We did the shootout. We had to get the horse. We got the horse, and the guy just started doing fucking donuts on the horse. And like it was like, we gotta deliver him, and like I could go deliver my horse and that would like continue me on, but we also had like a limited life pool between all of us. So if he died before I got my horse back to the place, it would restart us from that like checkpoint. So there was stuff like that where people can kind of just fuck you up if they want to play like an asshole. You can leave obviously, but you could waste 15 minutes or something. But I think it's something that could be cool, because for the little bit I played in it, the atmosphere and just the fun of meeting randos was really entertaining. Right now it's like it feels very new and growing painsy. I'm having such problems with there's you can hear people over the mic, and it's proximity. But the proximity is so far. Like if you think of your second camp all the way to Rhodes, you could hear someone in Rhodes. So some guy just was on his mic, like literally, like I don't know, farting into it, just making noises with his body, just like all the way through it for fucking ages. I tried to go into the settings to find out how to mute him and stuff. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, I'm literally gonna like ride all the way to the other side of the map just to not hear you, kind of thing. So maybe I was just missing how to mute him, but it was so buried somewhere that I didn't know how, that it was very frustrating. And just other fun stuff happened, like I went outside of a shop and this guy was having a shootout with another guy. I tackled him and hogtied him and rode away. He found me later on and hogtied me, so...
That's cool.
That's really good.
So I think there's a lot of fun. No, he just left me.
What happens if...
He's left. You can die. You can press X so you can respawn and stuff, but you can just be left there for a while.
That's really funny. He was able to find you again.
Yeah, like if you kill someone, it'll mark you as red on their map, so they'll know when he can come after me if he wants, or he can just leave me. But like fun stuff like there's a lot of, I think, fun to be had, especially if you're running with a group of other players and stuff. Cool. But early days, but positive first start.
Yeah, I think the way that the GTA 5 online stuff went was kind of the same. It was very bare bones at the beginning, but now there's like loads of stuff you can do. So yeah, that sounds cool. I beat Deltarune.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know why I'm acting surprised. I kind of saw it happen.
Mm-hmm. That's a fun little game. I really enjoyed myself with it. It's definitely like kind of, I guess it's kind of hard because like I really did like it and I thought it did some really just fun stuff, but when you're following Undertale, which is like one of my favorite games in such a long time, it feels like such a kind of, I guess not always a kind of very pared back version of that. Like last time you were saying about how kind of like, Undertale makes sense to you now because like it's a game about choice and it tells you it's about choice. That is not what Undertale is to me. That is what Deltarune is to me, where it's just like, oh yeah, I get it, and it's weird because I did really have a good time playing it, but I guess I am struck with kind of it didn't leave me with a lot of food for thought either. Like, I don't really think about it in the same way I think about Undertale and stuff like that, and it's hard not to compare the two because of how similar they are. I wasn't in love with any of the characters, but there was other stuff I really loved. I love the look of it. I love the little pieces of animation in it. I love the music. All that stuff was really cool. And it was fun, but then I kind of maybe think part of the reason I was having so much fun with it was because I was doing it on stream and I'd never done anything like that before. And so that was really weird and novel. But I still think it's a really great little game, and it's free. But yeah, definitely did not set my world on fire the same way that Undertale did. But if you liked Undertale, you're going to like Deltarune.
Do you think it would be better if he kind of came out and said, look, this isn't an Undertale 2. This is like a smaller project I've been working on? Because from what I've been reading and from what I'm understanding what other people are saying is this was just kind of a smaller project, and it's kind of a chapter 1. There's going to be more added to it. But I think people going into it with the kind of weight of something like Undertale on its heels.
See, I think it kind of... The game itself courts that weight because of how similar it is.
Yeah.
But then, like, some of the Undertale fan service at the end was some of my favorite parts of the game. Like, even just, like, walking around and just all of a sudden this big character from Undertale just kind of comes into view, and it's like, oh, fuck, this person's here. And I actually really appreciated that stuff. And I usually don't like that. Like, I usually feel like that's kind of pandery, and I guess this was, but I guess I was the one being pandered to, so I liked it.
I have no affection for Undertale whatsoever, but I like that little end sequence where you're meeting people in the town, because I was like, oh cool, I get to explore a little town, and I liked meeting, like, you know, different people who were talking about the characters I now knew, like Susie and stuff.
Yeah, and I thought that stuff was cool, and like it did totally kind of, it did leave me happy, the game, and I liked the last boss fight as well. I thought it was really fun, and just the general battle system I thought was great. And yeah, absolutely 100% recommend this game. You know, did not set my world alight, but I am definitely, it was really hard for me to get away from like, oh, this is very like Undertale, and I love Undertale so fucking much. So yeah, good little game. Brian, tell us about a little indie game you have been playing, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I was also playing Red Dead. John lent it to me. He was like, you should probably play this for a few hours. So I got to chapter 3, so that's pretty...
That's further than I got.
That's pretty far.
Yeah. No, like I played a lot of this, and I don't need to play any more for a while. I will definitely continue this game someday, but this seems to be the kind of game that you could like play over a year. Like it's not a game you rush.
I am not beating this game. Maybe ever. Probably never.
But the stories... I really like. I didn't like it in chapter 2. I loved chapter 3. Like, that made me like that game. Like, that story goes places, and I didn't realize I cared about those characters in the way I do.
I did a lot of exploring in chapter 3, and I got to St. Denis, and I was like, wow.
I got to St. Denis in chapter 2.
Yeah, like...
You can just go there.
Yeah. You can just go, but it's just that in chapter 3 it kind of launches you a bit closer to it.
I actually found that a little weird, because like it acts like Arthur's never been there, and I was just like, I've been here a lot, you know? And
yeah, I've been fucking chased out of that town 500,000 times because I keep running into people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this game is really good.
Very good game, yeah.
I don't know how to recommend someone Coca-Cola, because this is what this is. Like, it exists, and it's a really popular, like, it's...
Yeah, but there has been backlash towards it too.
Yes.
I don't think it's a Coca-Cola. I think everyone can enjoy a cool, fresh and Coca-Cola. But I think this is an acquired taste.
I think this is a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never had Dr. Pepper.
Really?
I don't want to.
I don't think you'd like it, Brian. I agreed. I don't think you'd like it, Brian.
I like Pepsi Max, but that's me.
Brian doesn't like to be challenged by food. And Brian's big into food.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want no surprises.
When I go on holidays, I don't actually like to try the food, because it might be like, that was that dinner inconvenienced by crappy food.
Brian loves food so much that he wants to know that it's going to be alright.
Yeah.
Do you like pizzas, Brian?
No. I don't like that amount of melted cheese.
You can get non-cheese pizzas. They're garbage, but you can get them.
I don't want to eat garbage. I want to eat chicken nuggets.
Anyway, Red Dead, I actually feel is a little bit of an acquired taste.
Yeah, it certainly is.
That's the thing that really shocked me about it. Like, I was expecting the most polished, like, kind of AAA experience. Some ways it is, a lot of ways it isn't, but in ways that I think are kind of interesting.
Yeah, like I think if you're interested in video games as a medium, it's something you should definitely pick up and play because it's a weird passion project from a AAA studio, which is not something you get.
From like the AAA studio.
Yeah. I've encountered some really, really bad game-breaking glitches, which kind of let down some of the other experiences. In the town of Valentine, for some reason, I got on a horse, but I got on the wrong horse, and I went into a T-pose, and then someone appeared sitting on the back of the horse, and then it spawned 3 characters with guns, and I didn't know what I did wrong, but I was in trouble, and I was wanted.
Are you sure you weren't just on like a spirit quest?
I don't know. I just got really frustrated, so then I ended up making sure I got on the right horse. I customized my horse so it looked like no other horse. So I was like, there's my horse.
What, do you guys name your horses?
Yeah. Little Lesbian and Murdoch.
Toffee Pop.
Deathface and Trent Justice.
Sweet.
Yeah. They both died.
Oh.
I was fucking pissed because I spent $500 on Trent Justice.
Oh man, when Murdoch died, I was so upset. So I like instantly shut the PlayStation off straight away so it wouldn't autosave. I was like, no, I'm not enjoying this game without Murdoch.
The autosaving and
save
checkpointing. Yeah. I don't like the checkpointing in this game. It's a pain.
Oh my god.
It's so
Have you ever hit fucking square instead of X and gotten transported like 30 minutes back?
Yeah. I unlocked the fast travel as soon as I could, and that's kind of an interesting version of fast travel because it's like it solves problems like Breath of the Wild has, where you over rely on the fast travel.
I've never used it. What actually does it do? I've never used it.
You're at camp, and you know the way how Arthur has his own like tent where you can shave and stuff. You go behind that, and there's a map. Mm-hmm. You look at the map, and Arthur will fast travel to a location on the map. But it plays a cutscene of him getting on the horse, a couple of different like wide shots of him trekking across land on the horse, and then it loads in the town.
Doesn't sound like that fast travel.
Yeah, like nearly at that point, I may as well ride.
Honestly, yeah, I like it, and like you can fast travel back to camp. It's only like. You like it's like a bicycle spoke that you go out of, you don't go back to.
Yeah. It's been weird because like I'm still like really love parts of that game, really don't love other parts. Been going back and playing a bunch of Yakuza 2 recently and getting really back into that game, and I think those games are just kind of more my speed. I think I like the sense of humor a lot better, and the open world stuff is so much more like you wander around Kamurocho for 2 minutes, you meet a million fucking things, and still having that issue with Red Dead where it's like I have good sessions and I have bad sessions.
Yeah, totally. I don't think Red Dead's a good open world game at all. Like, not at all. Because, like, it swings too wildly between freedom and absolute stringent scriptedness. And that isn't what an open world should be, you know? It just happens to be a very linear narrative that has an open world attached to it at times. And it doesn't clarify when you're in which one well enough sometimes.
Where it's like, take something like Metal Gear Solid 5, you knew any open world shit you discovered was going to work for the missions. Yeah. And I love that about it.
With Red Dead, it's like, we want you to do it this way, we want you to use this gun, you want to go back in your horse and get a different gun, mission fail. Like, it's very specific about what it wants you to do when it wants you to do it. But then at other times, it's just like, yeah, have a ball, do whatever you want. And, like, that to me doesn't make a good open world, but it makes an interesting game. And now that I've kind of, I don't know, I've gotten more up to speed of what it wants with me. Basically, I've given in. I've given in to what Red Dead wants, and I'm having
Rockstar have broken
way more,
you like a well-trained horse.
Did you get hogtied?
Pretty much. It took 30 to 40 hours, but I'm comfortable with the controls. I know what it wants from me, and now I'm having fun. But up until that point, it was a fight.
Are you enjoying the story missions?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think I don't know why, but I think that game opens up in the ugliest location in the whole world, because that game only gets better looking as it continues on. Like, I think the first kind of forested area kind of looks shitty, and the snow is like snow, so it's just impressive that it's like, you know, moving underfoot. And I also think the first missions are the worst because they're the most arcadey. Like that shootout in Valentine where you have to kill 30 people.
Time splitters. Or not the time crisis.
Time crisis, yeah. Like, that sucks. But then later on you do a bank robbery where you can either choose to blow up like shit with like dynamite or like twist the dials and kind of listen to do it and
that
doing it and
sounds
stealing it.
Much more interesting.
Yeah, like it really gets a lot more interesting on what you can do with Arthur and what you can do with the gang. Starts off weak, in my opinion, and only gets better. At least for me, that's how I felt, because I really did not like this game at the start. Or at least I liked it, then I didn't like it, now I like it again.
Yeah, you sounded ready to tap out there for a while.
Totally. I was like, I fucking hate this game.
Yeah.
There's some missions I've enjoyed so far. I like the one where you have to go drinking with Lenny to
That's
cheer him up.
Brilliant. That's so good.
I love the editing in the last 2 minutes of that mission. They really, really captured being drunk.
That was the point where I was like, all right, Red Dead, we got something going here.
There's a few missions like that in GTA 5 that are kind of similar, where you get drugged and you think you got abducted by aliens, and it's the same kind of vibe, and it's just handled really well.
Red Dead is making me want to go back and play GTA 5 because I never played it.
I'm definitely more of a GTA 5 person, but and there's 5 years of development between the two games, but there's still both in active like, you know, development for online stuff. So
I prefer the world, and I prefer the gameplay of GTA 5. I think it plays better and it feels better to play. I prefer the characters so much more of Red Dead. I really don't like the characters in GTA 5.
They're awful, ugly, disgusting people. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, like definitely the characters in Red Dead are more human. Also, there's like a child in this game. They never have children in Rockstar games. It's because why would they? But like Lil Jack, that kid's great.
He's cute.
I like going fishing with him.
Here's a very specific weird issue I have with sometimes kids depicted in media. Jack is like, I don't know, 10 maybe, is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just sitting there playing in mud. He's a bit old for that.
You never played in mud, Neve?
Not that old.
Played in mud fucking this morning.
I remember like very clearly there was like in Walking Dead, there's this little girl in it who's really annoying because she's just a liability all the time. And she's just playing in mud. And she's like 12 years old. And she's just sitting there patting down mud. And I was just like, this is someone who doesn't know what children do trying to write a child. And it's like, what'll they play with? Mud. They'll just roll around in mud.
Kids love muds and guns.
The kid not be trying to like build a treehouse or something.
Yeah, they'd be doing anything except sitting in wet mud playing with it. Anyway, that's a very specific pet peeve.
Speaking of playing in wet mud, Brian, tell us about Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Unfortunately, I haven't played that much of this game because I had to play Red Dead Redemption 2 instead. But I'm really looking forward to getting back to Tomb Raider. I played a couple hours of it. I did Laura's flashback as a kid, so that's about as far as I got.
That was fun, when she's climbing that mansion and you're just like, Lara, stop it.
Oh, I watched you stream that bit.
Yeah. You know, it's really, really good. I think when I get back to it, I'm gonna try and turn off the hold down detective hint mode thing where he goes dum, dum, and it like sends out a pulse and it shows you all the ammo and anything you can interact with.
I think detective modes are bad.
They are?
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't think they should be in games. I think instead games should work to make just the regular world usable.
It's just because I was playing Red Dead and I was exploring and I had to just look around and find things. But I think in Tomb Raider they've got all of that customizable, so you can turn that as much or as little as you want on or off, depending on how you feel.
I think like it hurts the game having that as a thing that's on when you start it, because that's like all I was doing as well was doom doom, and then I realized I wasn't looking at the world.
It's the same problem you get with minimaps. I find you stop you stop experiencing the world and you just experience it through this one specific way. So you go into detective mode and all of a sudden all the color choices, all the lighting, all that stuff is like gone and you're seeing like the highlighted shit. And I don't think games should do that.
No, me neither.
No.
Tell me what else you like about Lara.
I like the set pieces so far. The flooded village was really good.
I ended up going back and watching some old Tomb Raider cutscenes. That lady sure used to look different.
Yeah. Sure did.
For a while I was playing as like the like a giant 3D like PlayStation 1 Lara Croft, but with the PlayStation 4 lighting on her, and that was really funny. But like her mouth doesn't animate. But I did the bit.
I think like polygonal people are really sexy.
So I did the scene where you're in the Jaguar's den, and the Jaguar's going right up and breathing against her face, but it's like the low poly Lara, and it was so fucking funny.
I don't know why they did that.
Because nostalgia.
But leave that shit as an unlock at the end of the game so you can play it a second time with the alternate model. Like, being able to do that just takes you out of the world as far as I'm concerned. And it's shit. Why does anyone want to play like that?
Because she's the most beautiful woman in the world.
I played it like that for about 10 minutes and I was like, I get it. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to camp and changed.
I watched a documentary the other day called Lara Croft Loaded and Lethal. And I bought it for $2.99 on eBay.
When was this made?
2001.
Of course it was. That's such a fucking 2001.
It's about the like creation of Lara Croft, but it's like absolutely not. It's just a whole pile of people trying to say she has big tits, but kind of dancing around it. And they interviewed this one guy called Vince, and he's just labeled fan, and he goes and he's just talking about how in love with her he is, and he's just like this British guy who's just like, you know, she's the perfect woman and there's no other women out there like her. So why would I waste my time with other women when I could be at home with Lara? And it keeps escalating until he's like, you know, she's so beautiful. She's not like... And he names like two like British like parliamentary figures or whatever who were like just standard old women. And was like, you'd want to shoot them, but you wouldn't want to shoot Laura. And like it just gets weirder and weirder.
Would you like to come down to my basement?
Exactly. It's just like this guy wants to eat her skin.
I have a very comfortable mattress down there.
It's just like,
you know, I go on down there and we have a party.
No one's as beautiful as Lara, and he literally looks like a foot. Like he's just awful.
Would you like a crumpet?
Anyway,
Lara?
This really terrible documentary that like nearly killed me is on YouTube.
And it's an hour
long.
Fucking watch that.
How good is the editing? Is it all like...
Oh, it's so shitty. It's so shitty.
Is there lots of like cut to B footage with like...
Yeah. Pretty much.
I love 90s
I learned some interesting stuff. They had Lara Weller, who was that Tomb Raider model who was on the toy show that one fateful time.
Jesus, yeah.
But she was talking about her experience as the Lara model, and like the Disney mascot people, they're not allowed to speak because it could compromise Lara's image. So she has to go around the world and she can't eat, she can't drink, she can't smoke because it was 2001, and she can't speak. And like there's just shots of like this model like taking photos with the Lucozade bottle from the time, and just a whole pile of people just gawking at it going, oh yeah, looks like Laura. It's just like the fucking worst. Anyway, it's on YouTube. Lara Croft.
And you bought this?
Yeah.
Like recently?
Yeah, I went on eBay to
She's on a Lara Croft binge at the moment.
I'm on a Lara Croft binge.
She's drinking Lara's Aid non-stop.
It's all I can drink now or I'll die. So I went on eBay just to see if it was
like
there.
Vince.
Because it was like a thing you could buy on DVD. So there was this one seller, and it was like, you know the way sometimes eBay says like how many they've sold? It was like 150 something copies sold. So this guy just has a stack of these, and like these are the official DVDs. Like it's not like a reprint or anything. It's all of them there, and he's just still selling them out for $2.99 on eBay. So I wanted to own that artifact because that seemed fucking weird, and it was.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shadow Tomb Raider is a cool game, and I can't wait to play more of it over Christmas, and maybe just drink Pepsi Max, maybe not Lara's Aid.
Yeah, Pepsi Max is Brian's drink of choice.
It's maximum taste, no sugar, and it was not affected by the sugar tax, so you know, I got my savings.
I've heard so much about this fucking sugar tax.
What?
Brian's a money saver.
Oh yeah, I'm a real penny pincher.
And he really likes to save money.
Oh, especially...
So you've convinced yourself you're saving money on Pepsi Max because it's not... The money tax doesn't apply to
How much you save in a bottle, Brian?
Oh, nothing, because I drink it anyway.
But compared to like Pepsi...
If I had to drink regular Pepsi or Coca-Cola, I'd have to spend like 25 cents more. That's a small fortune right there, my friend.
That's how millionaires make their millions.
It is. You're gonna round up, not round down.
Brian, tell us about Minit.
Minit is one of my favorite games of the year. I love this game. I beat it in 88 minutes.
That's not a minute.
No.
Does that mean you played it 88 times?
No. Minit is A very bare bones looking black and white pixel game that kind of harks back to Zelda Link's Awakening. That's how I would describe it. Totally. You're on an island and you play as this weird Tamagotchi looking duck dude, and you wake up in your house.
It looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Like they have the lowest amount of like visual information to tell you what the water is, but it's just like a black solid with like a little ripple in it.
Yeah,
you
like,
go
is there any grey in the game, or is it just black and white?
It's just black and white.
It's fucking crazy.
And like you go to the beach, and you know it's the beach because it has like, you know, seagull noises and there's a crab, and you pick up the sword, and the sword is cursed, and you will die after a minute, and you have to get rid of the sword, but you can't get rid of the sword, and you have to return it to the sword factory, and that's the whole game.
That sounds really charming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking cool.
It's just a funny game, and like the game doesn't have any like deeper meaning to it or anything. Like,
or does it?
No, it doesn't. Like that game is exactly what it is on the surface.
Or is it?
It doesn't have any metaphor.
Sounds like we need a YouTube analysis of this game.
No, like this game is literally black and white. There's no grey in any aspect of it.
Oh, okay. Never mind so.
And you're just going around an island and trying to figure out how to get to a different part of the island where a sword factory is, and to destroy the sword.
Because I remember we played a little bit of it, and I remember the factory coming up all right. I didn't know that was the end goal of the game.
Oh yeah.
Like really funny.
Like the game is not that big at all. Like it may as well be like a Newgrounds fucking Flash game on a browser. Like it's just it's tiny.
It totally feels. Is it minute?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What platform are you playing it on, and how much was it?
I got it on the Switch, and I had a bunch of gold points, so I ended up only paying €1 for it. This game is normally like €10. It's not worth €10. At most, it's worth a $5. I
mean, yeah, but like,
I enjoyed every minute of it.
But like, it's a weird one, because I think that is a really cool little game, and I think that would be worth a tenner even if it is only 88 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the word worth is kind of what's the problem here. Like, it's probably worth its price because people spent time making it and it's a good little game. But when you think about, like, I don't know, people wanting to spend money on something and not having a lot of money, then you kind of have to weigh up these things, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. I guess like it depends on which you value more, money or time.
Yeah, like, how much did The Quiet Man cost? €15?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yeah, like this is... It's way better than The Quiet Man in terms of time and money.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a shorter game than The Quiet Man. But I really like this game. I've seen some reviews of it where people, like, weren't super hot on it, but...
I think this is the kind of game, and you know if you're going to be into it from the first screen.
Yeah.
And I saw that little duck fucker, and I was like, ha ha!
Yeah, no, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And like, there's bits that really remind me of Mother 3, where, you know, the way towards the end of Mother 3 when you start going into all the companies, and just like, you just see weird people doing business.
So fucking good.
Yeah, so like, there's just bits where you get into the factory, and there's just newspaper everywhere, and you're like... Of course there's fucking newspaper everywhere.
Do you remember that bit in Mother 3, Brian, where we spent like just 30 minutes walking through an infinite bathroom?
All the ghosts. There was like 50 ghosts in one bathroom cubicle, and you're like, oh.
Mother 3 is the best game ever.
And then the door sign from the bathroom starts chasing you.
Yeah, oh my god.
What the fuck was going on? Yeah, so there are bits where it feels like a Mother game. The last boss is really cool, and some of the puzzles are really, really funny and really clever.
Yeah, totally. And
I think I found most of the unlockables. Like, you don't need a guide for this game. It all happens very, it really unfolds itself. You don't need to think too much, but you're not challenged either too much. Like, it has a nice balance all along the way.
Excellent. Minit would recommend
the game of the generation.
The game of the generation. Quicktime Events. So the first one, I thought this was really sad. Cliffy B retires.
What?
This isn't sad at all. He retired back in 2012 and then came out of retirement in 2014 with a tweet saying, "I'm back out of retirement to make games," and then he made Lawbreakers.
Yeah, but like I just like considering the effect he had on the games industry before, and I do think like especially during the development of Lawbreakers, he was such a tit. But I just thought this was kind of sad, like just him on Twitter just being like, yeah, I don't want to make games anymore, and someone was like, wait, did you just retire? And he's like, yeah.
But that's literally what he said in 2012. I don't want to make games anymore. It's different now. When I used to bring, like, I think it was a quote, I was reading it like earlier today. It was like, when I used to bring an idea into the boardroom, they were all hyped, and now they're not. I'm quitting games. And then he came back. Like, I just don't believe we'll see the last of Cliffy B. He'll be back.
I don't know, Neve. Like, in 2012, he was like finishing up on Gears of War. Now he bombed so hard that he destroyed the entire company. Like, I think he's leaving for different reasons, and I think the reasons he's leaving now are a lot more painful. Like, Lawbreakers was more disastrous than Battleborn. Battleborn had a minute there where people were, they were Lawbreakers fucking just plunged into the core of the earth. Like, it never even failed. It died before it got to the opportunity it could fail.
I get you. So there's nothing really... He doesn't even have the pedigree to return to it now.
Probably not, no.
Is it much of a loss? He was only making shite.
Gears of War was a time and a place thing, but like that was the first Xbox 360 game I ever... Or Xbox...
I love Gears of War. I was in a pro clan.
But that was the first game I looked at when I was like, oh shit, like Xbox 360 is actually fucking cool, like this, because there's always that period where you need a next gen game to prove what next gen is. Gears of War 1 was that for me, and I did really like that series. I thought it was really fun, and like he was the creative behind it, and yeah, so it's a little sad to me, the idea that his career might end in a whimper like this, and I get what you're saying, that like maybe this isn't the end of his career, but for now we don't know that, and it just, yeah, I guess when someone like makes a splash in the industry, you kind of want to see them go out maybe in a better way than this. I just think this is really sad.
I think he made a splash at a time when he could. I think he doesn't like to play ball with people. He said he wanted to be a rock star of the video game industry, and he's very much a singular person. Like, I don't think he's a good collaborator, and I think to make a good game now he needs a collaborator, because everything he makes himself tanks, because it's kind of nearly get rich quick schemes nearly.
Well, I think Lawbreakers was a passion project. Radical Heights was a we don't know what the fuck is happening, please God let this work.
Which is such a shitty thing to do, I think, just to be like, oh, let's see if we can make money out of this. Totally,
but like it wasn't. He was trying to keep a company afloat. Like, he had people working for him, and I get the desperation there. He's doing better than David Jaffe. David Jaffe's a fucking moron now.
I think if he like puts his ego at the door and wants to come back and bring that expertise to a team, then it'll be cool. I just think Cliffy B as Cliffy B doesn't make good stuff anymore.
I think there is plenty of evidence to prove you right in that regard. Oh, man. But yeah, wish him well. Netflix announces Evangelion and Cowboy Bebop live action, right?
Evangelion is just the series, and the two original movies are coming in 2019, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Bummer though, they're redubbing it, which is a shit move.
Fucking, I do not understand this. This is horseshit. Like, Rei Ayanami's dub for that series is fucking perfect, and it's why I watch the dub as opposed to the sub.
Didn't they use the same actress for the rebuilds?
Yeah.
In 3.0, it's a different actor for Rei.
Oh, okay.
And that is one of the reasons I do not like that movie.
But like Asuka's like voice actress is so in love with being Asuka.
And she is, that is like the iconic fucking dub performance.
Same with Shinji, like just same with all of them. I just think it's such a shame because there's so many people, surprisingly, who haven't seen it, who were so pumped to see it, and now they're getting a redubbed version where none of the original voice cast was asked to return.
I can't experience those characters without those voices. Like, it is impossible to me.
Bad move. If you're gonna introduce like an anime that's like 20-something years old, like make it the 20-something-year-old one.
And like I'm fine with being bitter and crazy about this. Like if it turns out that this new voice cast is like really good and that they do a really great job, fuck them. I don't want them. I don't want a better job. I want what I knew. And like I am fine with being a little fanboy asshole about that. Like I cannot be moved in this. And hey, Cowboy Bebop live action.
Yeah, they've been wanting to make that shit for years.
Yeah.
Do you remember when like Keanu Reeves was going to be Spike Spiegel and shit like that? And like at one point, I think the Wachowskis were going to be directing it.
Oh, they would be a good fit.
Yeah.
They're the only people who could have made that. I don't know if this will be good. In fact, I doubt it will be.
Yeah. Bebop is such a specific thing. And I don't think you need to make Bebop doesn't need to be animated. Sure as hell benefits from it.
Yeah.
I'd need to see some stuff from this to have any kind of opinion.
Yeah, that's going to live and die on its casting.
And then Daredevil season 3 was the final season. There's no season 4.
So bummed.
Don't worry, Neve, it wasn't a good show.
That's wrong.
Are they going to make Defender season 2, or was that a one season experiment?
I think they're getting rid of everything very slowly because Disney is going to do its own streaming service. So I think this is part of a purge. Like season 3 did really well. It like reviewed really well for Daredevil. I think the only reason they're getting rid of it is to take everything off Netflix.
Yeah, because I know Disney have Disney Life, but they are expanding it, and all the MCU films are moving to that as well. So yeah, it makes sense.
They already got rid of Iron Fist, which whatever. They got rid of Luke Cage, which was a pity. And like Daredevil just seems crazy. Like people like signed up for Netflix for that series at the time.
That was the big original series for a long time.
And like I think they brought a lot of character and life to Daredevil and brought him as a character to more people. I know you weren't a fan of it, John, but like it had its moments.
It had cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like Kingpin was deadly in it. Really, really good. Like it wasn't a bad TV show. Like I watched the first season and I enjoyed it. I just thought Daredevil and the characters were pretty lame.
It suffered from some Netflix problems.
Yeah, it like introduced a lot of them, but like it was still a cool show. But yeah, that definitely caught me off guard. That thing did not feel like it was slowing down.
Yeah, especially after just how raving people were about season 3 specifically. So
did you watch season 3?
I was actually nearly through season 2 because I was making my way through for season 3, and I'm liking season 2. It's not as good as season 1 because it's more or less more of the same kind of thing, but I'm looking forward to season 3, and it's a pity it's going.
Cool. Yeah, that sucks. Marduk and Armor King announced for Tekken 7. Any thoughts?
I like Marduk.
I like Marduk's beard.
He looks cool.
Yeah, I think I like how decadent Armor King's armor is now. We got them out of the way. Julia is back in Tekken 7 and she's a streamer now.
That's pretty good.
Have you seen her design?
That's
No.
relevant.
She looks fucking great. Julia is like the queen of reinventing herself. She was like in like a Native American kind of getup for a long time, and I did not care about her at all. And then she returned as JC, the masked wrestler, and she was the fucking best thing in the world, and she became my main. And now she's back as a weird internet streamer.
Is she wearing like a neon purple jacket?
Oh my god, pretty much it's a neon check shirt.
Yep.
Sweet.
Please show Brian.
That's a streamer, alright.
I saw a tweet going around and it was like, subscribe to her channel, follow her on Patreon.
Did they show more of Negan from Walking Dead or anything like that?
Yeah, they did.
So
they released the most bizarre trailer I have ever seen for a fighting games character, and that's fucking saying something. There's this famous scene from The Walking Dead where Negan like has this bat over his shoulder and he has all the main characters kneeling down. He's going to kill one of them. He's going to beat one of them to death with a bat. Very gruesome, grisly scene. Really famous. In this trailer, all the kind of main players from Tekken are kneeling down in front of Negan, and he's walking in front of them with the bat going like, "One of you is gonna hurt, boy. We're gonna hurt one of you." And it goes on. I thought it felt like about 8 minutes. It's not 8 minutes. It's like a minute and a half. But it goes fucking on and on and on. And It didn't make any sense, first of all, because anyone who knows karate could beat up a baseball bat. It's not even a question. And there was like 7 of them. Anyway. But then like it does that, and then it cuts to like his gameplay. Then it cuts back to the scene and does more shit. Then it cuts back to the gameplay. Then it cuts to him making fun of Bob for being fat.
Aw.
It was so weird.
Does he play nice?
I don't know. I thought he looked really boring. I thought he just looked like a baseball bat character.
But it's Negan from Walking Dead. So finally, you can answer that old question: who would win in a fight, Negan from Walking Dead or Lei Wulong? You know, that kind of just that ancient rivalry. Everyone's always going back and forth on internet forums about who's the tougher character. Now we can find out. Yeah. Like, I didn't even think Salty Beck can answer that question, but Tekken sure can.
Yep.
So there you go.
Harada, he had a vision. Okay, so I think I might have said this recently. I can't remember if I said it on the podcast, but I feel like coming into the last quarter of this year, we were actually kind of light on shit shows.
Yeah.
I was like, man, there just hasn't been that many this year. You know, there hasn't been a whole lot of like big public apologies in the games industry. Maybe we gotta lay the old shit show award to rest for our upcoming Game of the Year episode. Boy, that is not the case anymore. There has been so many disasters this year, and the latest one, Fallout 76. I cannot believe what a shit show this game is across the board. Like, it has all the stuff where like it's a really incomplete game, people are really like unhappy with it, but then like there was this story about the bags.
The bag.
Bags?
Have you not heard this, Brian?
No.
Oh,
man.
I'm so glad we get to tell you. So basically, there was this
$200.
Yeah, this special edition of Fallout, $200 that ships with this like canvas bag.
Okay, a physical canvas bag.
A physical canvas bag, so like a nice bag, and it ships. People get their collection, they open it up, and it's this shitty nylon bag, and what nylon is this suit, like it's so annoying because you can't understand how shitty a difference this is. A canvas bag is a proper bag. A nylon bag is like one of those bags you get where like the straps are like string pulls.
Your shoes sometimes come in a free
it's a
nylon
tote bag.
Tote bag, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you get those free at like conventions and stuff, and they're just full of fucking like ads, like flyers.
Yep. And so people get really mad about this, and they message Bethesda support, and Bethesda support sends out this message where it's like, the canvas bags were too expensive, no plans on changing it, that's it.
Those bags cost like 30 cents to make.
Yep. And people get unbelievably pissed, so they end up eventually saying, okay, we'll send you out the canvas bags.
Oh, wait. Whoa. No, there's a few more steps.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, so the Power Armor Edition comes with the canvas bag. It's marketed everywhere. They don't get the canvas bag. They get a shitty nylon bag. Some of the users complained to customer support. The emails first was like, we didn't have the materials available. And they were too expensive to make, and one just said we've no plans on changing it. So they were rude and weird and kind of just...
Those were separate emails?
Yeah, there was 2 separate emails. One about the shortage and the other one being we have no plans
on changing it. Wow.
Like, it was like a 2-line email. People were pissed off about that. Then people got more pissed off because there was a Fallout 76 event where streamers and special people who stream Fallout got the canvas bag. So they existed. They were just for a specific type of person and not the type of person who paid €200 for their Power Armor Edition.
Influencers are a superior class of people. Like, we can all acknowledge that.
So the superior class of people, influencers, got the canvas bag. People were super pissed. Then they were like, okay, we'll credit your account with 500 atoms. And atoms are the in-game currency for Fallout 76. That kind of works out as €5. And with that €5, you couldn't even buy the in-game canvas bag because that was 700 atoms. And the Power Edition, the Power Armor Edition, already came with free atoms. So like you had some. So people were like, what the fuck? This just sucks. Like, it just was day after day, this progressively getting shittier and shittier. So then, like, I think it was just 2 days ago, they were like, okay, fine. Send us a proof of purchase, and if you do by January 31st, we'll send you the canvas bag. So they're gonna fix it now. That's the bag saga.
That is very impressive.
I hope people get their bags.
Hope it was worth it.
And the funny thing is like that is the least of that game's problems.
Nope.
There has been so much other shit with that game. Like, you know, people just saying like the game is broken, the game is bugged, the game doesn't do this, doesn't do this, doesn't do this. And then like just when things were hitting fever pitch, this video went around of this really like awful thing that happened in the game where basically there was a group of players running around being like incredibly homophobic.
They call themselves like the gay cleansers or something.
Something like that.
And they're just shouting homophobic slurs at people.
Yeah,
because
they were shouting about cleansing the queers. They were following this player around saying, you know what happened in the old days with you'd be lynched, you'd be murdered. They talked about AIDS. They're just,
they beat his like party to death and stuff, because like in Fallout you can't directly attack another player unless they attack you back. You only do tiny damage, but they were just harassing this guy for just minutes on end because like him and his friends were playing and stuff, and they caught wind that they were gay and they just like harassed their whole party. And it is a really gross video to watch. Like it's like parallels to real life feel really just uncomfortable and awful. Mm-hmm. And the guy who did it, Nathan the Hick, is totally unrepentant. He's like, no, just memeing, man. And it's like, oh, fuck off, dude. Like in the real world where this shit happens to people, it's like that is not just memeing. And
it's just like, it's just so shit. Like, you pay $60 on your game, you're in the game world, and someone's just being a homophobic asshole following you around the world, like saying the most horrible shit to you. Like, it just sucks. Like, no one should have to deal with that. And all the comments under those videos were really disheartening, and this is why people don't like gamers, because it was like, I've seen worse. Get thicker skin. It's just a joke. Like, the only people who just say that stuff aren't gay, you know? Like, it's just really, really shitty and dehumanizing and crap that you can just be like, that's just a joke and you should deal with it and you should be okay with it.
So, did Bethesda punish them, or did they get...
They initially banned them for 3 days while they investigated, and then they banned them for life.
But the big issue with this is back in June when they talked about making online game, people were like, what tools will you have in place to report people? They were like, none. So there isn't a report button. I
hardly think anyone's going to be mean on the internet.
So this is like a full multiplayer online game, is it?
There's literally no NPCs. They want people to engage with other people.
But people who make content are like crap at it. Mm-hmm. This is his podcast. It's shite.
Hey, we're trying our best, man.
But like their plan was that people who were griefing or being like aggravating and shit like that, they would give them a wanted level so other people could hunt them down and kill them. So they would turn the bad behavior into content, basically, and make the community deal with it, which is not community tools to report. Like,
that's a cute idea.
What you can do in the world is you can like block a person, but it just blocks your icon from showing up on their map. You can still run into them in the world. Like,
that is completely pointless.
That's not blocking.
Yeah. But Jeff, this was really shitty, and that game is a disaster. We were talking for one, I don't want to say what it is, but we're talking about what awards we're going to give this year, and we were talking about one very specific award that had 2 games in the category. I think it just found a third.
Yeah. Just before we end this section, do we want to do like what's going to happen at the Video Game Awards this year?
Yeah, so we're recording this before the Video Game Awards happen. So let's make some solid predictions. I'm actually pretty well connected in the video game industry, as a lot of you know, and I can say that all I'm going to say is congratulations, Naughty Dog. Can't wait for Crash 4.
Yeah. Okay. There's going to be a Death Stranding trailer.
Yep.
Jeff Keighley's going to be in it.
Oh no!
Oh no! I wouldn't like that.
And he turns around. So like the Game Awards opens with a Death Stranding trailer, and like it's Norman Reedus, and he's carrying like a corpse, and he delivers the corpse, and he like he opens up the corpse, like he pulls away the tarp and stuff like that, and it's Jeff Keighley going, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Game Awards 2018."
I think if that happened, I'd be like, Kojima, we've been through a lot. I think I'm done.
If Kojima's going to show another Death Stranding trailer, it needs to come with like a release date or something else.
Yeah,
or
we need to like move this shit along.
It needs to have a HUD.
Do you remember that article we saw, which was like, will Death Stranding be the game of the year for 2019?
Will it?
I mean, there's still time. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to be like, and it's out right now.
It came out last week. You didn't even know. I hope there's a bit where Jeff has to take the mic off someone because they were swearing too much.
Oh,
I hope that fuck the Oscars guy is back.
Yeah.
I hope he has his own segment this time.
Here's my prediction, which will totally happen. So, like, Connor from Detroit, his voice actor is up for a Best Voice Actor award. Detroit fans are really creepy and weird, and our hashtag Connor Army, they are going to make sure he wins. So he is going to get the award, even though it should go to Cassandra's voice actor, or Arthur's, or literally anyone else's.
But the Connor fans are going to call in a bomb thread.
Like, Arthur's is such a good performance.
No, Connor Army is going to boost Detroit.
But
I think Detroit is going to get awards.
Like, no disrespect to the actor, he actually he seems fine, but like he doesn't. There's no real acting in that game. It's just like, detective, it's nice to see you. Let us enter this house.
Like, he's good, but he's as good as anyone else in Detroit. But he's specifically there because a fandom sprung up around him.
I really like the Detroit fandom, and people like getting into it through the fan art and then playing the game and going, "This isn't what the fan art portrayed at all."
I've seen a few people like reblog something Detroit and then be like, "Oh, I didn't know that was Detroit." It's pretty funny.
So I think Detroit is going to win more awards than it ever should.
Detroit for best story.
No. Just no. What game do you think will win game of the year?
I still think God of War will.
I think it's going to be Red Dead.
Red Dead.
I think it should be God of War, but I think it's going to be Red Dead.
I think it shouldn't be God of War, but I think it'll be God of War.
So those are all our... There's probably some other stuff as well, like maybe Cliffy B will be there. Who knows?
I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh, man.
I hope we get a new IP announcement.
I'm looking forward to that.
Obsidian have an RPG that they're probably going to show there, I think, but I would like a good new IP.
Lots of Metroid Prime 4 rumors spinning. But Nintendo have never done that before, have
they? They wouldn't do it there.
Yeah.
I'd love if Sony came out and were like, guys, we're going to show you 20 minutes of Days Gone.
Oh my god,
Oh,
no.
And everyone's like, and like the whole audience just groans.
Oh, I mean, I would groan at that. I'd be so bummed if someone trapped me in a position where I had to watch 20 minutes of Days Gone.
Or maybe they show like Amazing Spider-Man 2 and like all it is a logo and everyone's like, whoa, whoa. I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to win an award.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Amazing Spider-Man picked up some Game of the Year awards. Because like people do love that game and people are like...
Sorry, yeah, just Amazing Spider-Man, not Amazing... I don't want that game.
It doesn't matter. But like that game, that's like, well, I can't choose between Red Dead and God of War. So what if I pick Spider-Man?
Let's give it to Spidey. Old Spidey needs a fucking leg up.
Yeah. Game Awards. But they don't matter. Because the only award show in video games that matters, and Hideo Kojima said this, is the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast Game of the Year Awards, which will be coming to you at some day between December 26th and December 28th. Look, we haven't decided yet. Keep an eye on our social media. We'll announce it.
It'll come out after Christmas.
It'll come out after Christmas, but before the new year. We can guarantee that much.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that matters. This other horse shit, bollocks. Don't tell Jeff Keighley that I said any of that. But it's true, and Hideo Kojima said it too.
Jeff Keighley has John blocked on Twitter.
He does, yeah.
What?
Because he can't handle the fucking truth.
He watched Jeff Keighley watched John's Bleach video, and he was like, "Oh no, he fucking didn't," and blocked his ass.
Oh, wouldn't be the first time. That's not true. He doesn't have me blocked. I don't think. I mean, I don't know.
There's no way to know.
Well, you can check, but you blocked, and I never blocked you, Neve.
Yeah, one person has me blocked.
Oh yeah.
Why?
It's Boogie.
That fat racist.
Well, for that perfectly reasonable comment you made.
Yeah, when about like the Holocaust thing, and he was just like, it was taken out of context, and I was like, care to add some context to the Holocaust had a good aspect, and then he blocked me.
But like, even that, I saw that, and I was like, that's some real good sass, but that is the lowest gear of Neve sass. Like, you can be so much angrier online, and that was you being your most, like, I thought it was a really fair comment.
You were letting him having his turn to speak, and his response was to block you.
He was like, oh no, I have to think about it more.
Well, I'm not
blocked.
I'm not going to actually defend myself.
So then Boogie was talking shit, and I was just like, wow, everyone's tweeting about Boogie. I guess he said something stupid again, and then I realized I was blocked.
You made a difference.
Was Boogie at the Game Awards last year or the year before winning Best Streamer?
Oh.
Or Best YouTube Personality or some sort of
I
best...
have a feeling he will not win that this year.
No.
I think Jeff's like, do you know what? Jeff has him blocked. That's how it comes full circle.
Full circle, everybody.
Alright, emails. What is our email address?
You can reach us at askletsfightboss@gmail.com.
Neve, what is that?
askletsfightboss@gmail.com.
And if you send us an email, it'll sound something like this. This is from Trevor. I've been saving up, and although I'm far off, I'm torn on whether I should get a Switch or a PS4. Both systems have games I've been really interested in playing, such as Street Fighter 5, Nier, Tekken, etc. And on the Switch, there's Octopath Traveler, Breath of the Wild, and a bunch of other indies. They're both fairly similar in price. I just want to know.
I'm going to let you guys go at it.
PlayStation 4, easy answer.
I would pick the PlayStation 4, but I think if you have a certain lifestyle, the Switch suits you more. I think if you're in college or you travel a lot and you have commutes, you don't have a television, get a Switch.
I think that makes sense, but also if you're in college, you probably don't have a lot of money, and you can get some of the best games out for super cheap on PS4 now.
You can.
Nintendo games don't go on sale that often. PS4 games go on sale a lot.
Some of the deals have been really good. I think they're both great choices, and I think you could... Although I would say the exclusive games he's interested on PS4, to me, they would be a lot stronger than the exclusive games he talked about on Switch.
Yeah. Near Bloodborne, like Tekken, Street Fighter, like...
Spider-Man.
God of War.
God of War. Ugh.
Like, there's a lot of games for the PS4 has just a huge back catalogue now, where I think the Switch doesn't.
Yeah, the PS4 is 5 years old. It's got a lot.
And like, in the next 2 years, we're going to be getting like news on a new PlayStation. So I think if there's no better time than to kind of buy in now and have all these, like, this huge back catalogue of games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a pretty good argument for it.
Also, the Switch is getting a new version pretty soon as well with a different screen. So either they'll do a price cut on the Switch, which might make it more desirable for you, or you should wait for the new hardware anyway. Yeah,
I think short answer PS4, more detailed answer depending on your situation is the Switch. But yeah, I think our gut reaction is PS4.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd go with. Thank you, Trevor, for that email.
Thank you, Trevor. Do you want me to read another one?
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
I can read one as well.
Okay. Can you read one?
Yeah. Who we got? This is from Emmett. Hi guys, love the podcast. Brian is my guy. Anyway. You are hosting Christmas dinner. 3 special guests from video games are to arrive. Who are they, and why would you want them there? Much love, Emmett.
Okay. Not Crash Bandicoot. 'cause
No, absolutely not.
that guy is a fucking disaster.
Okay, let's do a bonus round at the end of this. The 3 worst guests you can think of.
Okay, so 3 best.
Yep.
Nathan Drake, I want him there. I don't know why. I just think he'd be.
Really?
He seems like a dick.
Oh, I think he's. I think.
Oh yeah, I want him there.
He'll make the whole night about him.
Yeah, Christmas dinner.
Yeah, and he'd make a lot of lame jokes, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Christmas dinner.
But you know what's a good one?
Who, Mario. Oh no! Do you know what? Wario.
Okay, he'd be on my worst Christmas dinner.
Oh no!
It would be like him, Glass Joe from Punch Out, and
I think it's easier to pick worst ones.
and fucking Max from Life is Strange.
Okay, do you want like 2B at your Christmas dinner?
Yeah, okay, mine is 2B,
No
Lara
less.
Croft, and then Agent 47, just to add tension to the whole night.
Oh no!
And he's
no.
just sitting there straight back eating, and maybe he'll disappear into the bathroom and come out in a chef outfit or something.
I really want to check out Hitman 2. That game looks really
Yeah,
fun.
me too.
I want Brock from Pokemon. That's it.
He's not a video game card.
Okay, I want Elfel from Guilty Gear because she's brilliant, and I want I don't know, Chun-Li from Street Fighter and some other girl. Okay, that's what I want for dinner. I just want 3 girls.
Hi, Brian. Classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Ormika from Street Fighter.
Yeah, I think it's just cool if we just invite a bunch of girls.
I mean, look, if I like to pride ourselves on we're fucking real on this podcast, okay? So if I can have anyone I want at Christmas dinner, it's friggin' Ormika, and I'm not gonna pretend otherwise.
I want Donkey Kong at my Christmas dinner.
Oh, Brian, no, you can't have a gorilla. That's gonna go so wrong.
Oh, he's a Kong. It's different.
Oh, okay. I want Ormika. I want Kiryu Kazuma. Because I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for that night, and those are 2 fine options. But they would, yeah.
Are you eating them? Or fighting them? Or loving them? What is happening
He's eating
here?
food after
Why
titties.
don't you put all those options together, Neve?
I'm so sorry. And for number 3, I'm going to go with... It's a tough one.
Bacon. I love her big personality.
Big.
I'm sorry, Neve. You had Laura Croft and 2B at your dinner, was it? Just Neve was just like, okay, boobs and ass, and that was it. That was her entire thought process.
Do you want Sonic the Hedgehog there?
No, I don't.
I want Sonic at my dinner. Hey, we're gonna have chili
You
dogs.
know what? Fuck it. Yeah, biking. Because if one of them goes with Kiryu, I'll still have options. Okay. Okay.
I'm not seeing this as a date. I'm seeing it as interesting conversation.
Yeah, you wouldn't, Neve, because you don't have that killer instinct.
What?
I don't know. I never knew.
I don't want Kirby at my dinner.
No.
No, he'll eat everything.
Yeah. So I think Kirby's one of the worst guests.
Yeah.
So is King DDD. I think anyone from fucking the Kirby extended universe.
And you would have Wario there.
I think Wario. Look, do you know what? Let's fucking trash the joint.
Jeez.
It's your
Brian,
house.
you're such an agent of chaos.
It's your house.
The thing that
and
scares me
Your
the-
mom is cooking dinner. Do you really want Mario there?
Yeah, let's fucking ruin it.
Fuck you, mom.
I think my mom would kick the shit out of Wario.
Yeah, Brian's mom's super tough.
Yeah.
She breaks his fingers.
Oh yeah. It's her birthday tomorrow. I'm so scared of sending her a birthday message because I have to choose every word carefully. Happy birthday, mother. I don't know.
Are you saying I'm old, Brian?
Yeah.
Are you saying I've aged?
What time of the day do I send that text?
Morning.
Lunch.
Sometimes, one time I sent it to her in the morning. She said, "Oh, I'd forgotten it was my birthday. Thanks for reminding me."
I'm not even out of bed.
So yeah, Brian's
lunchtime.
mother is now the subject of choice instead of fucking video game Christmas dinner.
Okay, video game Christmas dinner. Worst dinner you can think of. I'm gonna go with Crash Bandicoot. I'm gonna go with Wario, and I'm going Max from Life is Strange.
That's so shit. The poor Max.
Oh man, fucking poor everyone else at that table having to listen to that shit. have you guys seen Final Fantasy The Spirits Within? Shut up, Max! Okay, I just think it's a really good movie. I have no actual character traits.
I want Sans from Undertale.
For your worst dinner?
I think he'd be alright.
For my good one and bad one.
Okay.
Depending on what route you choose.
Whoa. Your mom kills him in one and lets him live in the other.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's see. So my worst dinner would probably be Mario, Nathan Drake.
Why Mario?
I fucking hate him.
But he'd just be like, oh, Neve, it's a fine dinner.
Hello, Neve, I like the pasta.
Like, anytime I hear his voice, it sends a shiver of rage through me. I just don't like the man.
Poor Mario.
Who else?
Do you like Luigi?
Yeah, Luigi's fine.
Maybe you can invite Luigi to the good one. Mario gets into the bad one.
Okay, I've thought of an actual number 3 for my good dinner.
Okay.
So, Ormika, Kiryu Kazuma, and Blade Wolf from Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance.
How would he sit at the table?
However he wants.
Thank you for this dinner.
No problem, Blade Wolf. That makes me happy.
Such a good question.
Yeah, this is one of my favourite questions we've ever gotten.
Yeah, if you have to think of one more bad person.
one more bad person.
Caden Alenko from Mass Effect. He's the most boring person
Oh,
in
he
space.
sucks. And then in Mass Effect 3 he was really ripped. Remember that?
Really?
Yeah. Although, you could probably do like a good version just from Mass Effect characters.
Yeah,
I'd like
totally.
Garrus, I'd like
Liara.
Tali, I'd like Samara.
Liara, Tali, Rex.
No Garrus? That was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We got time for one more?
We do. We have plenty of time.
I can read this one. Good day, Brian, Neve, and John. I heard you like your adolescent life advice questions, and boy, do I have a doozy for you. For a little background, I'm 21 years old, and I really enjoy drawing, writing, and video editing. I hope to make it my career one day after I finish university. I'd also love to surround myself with like-minded people who share the same drive and passion for creation as me. However, my current group of friends are the same people I've been hanging out with since the beginning of high school, and are what immediately come to mind when you think of the lads.
Oh.
To paint a picture, gatherings almost always involve drinking, loud music, and casual misogyny. While I have fond memories of growing up with them, I think it's time for me to move on from the friendship group. Now older and wiser, I don't tolerate their comments like I used to, and unfortunately, none of them share the same passion for creating art that I do. So I guess here are my questions. How do I go about leaving the lads without hurting anyone's feelings? Am I a bad person for wanting essentially leave them all forever just because our passions don't align? And 3, how do I go about making my own friends who share creative interests where I find them? Thank you for taking the time to read this. Love the podcast and keep up the work. And that's Michael.
From Australia.
I didn't want to say from Australia in case,
There's only one Michael in Australia and they're coming for you.
and they all listen to this podcast. Michael, let me talk to you about friends. You see, I go by a philosophy that I call the snake philosophy, and that is whenever a friend becomes a piece of dead skin, you shed that motherfucker like they're nothing, because they probably are, and you move on, and you grow larger and stronger, and you just keep eating bigger prey.
And John calls me the sociopath.
I don't think Michael should feel bad about looking at a situation and being like, this isn't for me anymore. I think that's a big part of growing up, honestly. Yeah. I used my nearly entire teenage years until I went to college was hanging out with such a similar, I feel like that I was in the exact same situation. Best thing I ever did was kind of walk away from that friend group and make my own way.
Just completely.
Did you just stop contacting them? How do you cut off contact with people like that?
How
did you do it?
Well, it depends a couple of ways. Sometimes I'll sit someone down and be like, listen, we're done. Don't ever contact me again.
Oh my god, really? You'll break up with friends that way?
I've done that before. It sucks.
Intense.
But when someone outstays their usefulness, it's either that or murder them.
Usefulness. The way I would go about doing this, I haven't been in a similar situation, or I've been in sort of similar situations where it's as a group, I don't like the way the conversation goes among them, but individually they're actually okay. So what I did was I would remain friends with them individually, but if there was a group thing, I would say I was busy. And over the course of a year, it just naturally fell off. So it wasn't a cut and run situation. It was just like, the interest just fell out.
Yeah. And I would say, like, any situation where I have actually said to someone, listen, we're not buddies anymore, it was kind of something that needed to happen and definitely was painful for them. And I felt bad about that, but I also didn't want to leave them didn't want to ghost them either, you know, that kind of way.
Nah, ghosting's awful.
Ghosting's real bad, and I don't think you should ghost people. Like, the way, I also don't think you should need to try to keep a friendship going.
No.
I think friendships should kind of last naturally. And, like, naturally doesn't mean you see them every week or even every month, or, like, you know, I have friends who I see maybe once a year, but I see them and it's still just natural as hell. We hang out and we have a good time.
Yeah, like, I don't think you should feel guilty about this at all. And I think friendships naturally kind of end and start and stuff. And I think if there's, like, maybe, like, you know, one person in the group that you think might be a little bit more than just the lad, you know, you could stay in contact with them. But how you do it, I think Brian's way is good. Kind of maybe stop hanging out within a group, because then you'll actually see if you're actually really friends as well, and if there's anything to even salvage with one of them or two of them or none of them, you know? If you can hang out with them individually and it's fun and it's interesting, and maybe you can, like, watch a movie and talk about more interesting stuff with them, you know? Totally. If that doesn't work at all and they just have no capacity for that, then I think you'll also know yourself that this is fine to just kind of leave. And I think a slow tapering, John's method, I think, works if there's a reason to cut off someone.
Yeah,
if you're toxic, this is bad, you need to go.
If there's something really bad, if there's something
awful, like if they're
happens,
actively making your life worse, I think it's important to get away from people like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's just a more kind of thing where you feel like you're moving in separate ways, I think it's okay to kind of, like, just gradually move away.
Mm-hmm. And that will kind of naturally sometimes happen anyway, as you kind of move into different stages of your life. You go to college, or you, like, take up different groups and you meet new people. Like, time is limited, you know, you'll end up prioritizing other people than some.
Yeah.
How you go about making friends is a more difficult...
That is something because we get that question into the podcast a lot, and it's a tricky one. The only tips I have is, like, I think it's important to develop interests and to, you know, be the kind of person you would want to be friends with, to, like, pursue things that you think are interesting, and just that will help. But then another thing, like, it's just a little social thing, but the people will always find the most interesting thing in the world to people is someone who asks them questions about themselves. So, like, learn to ask people about their interests and learn to, like, really listen to them, and people will kind of be drawn to that. And if you can develop, like, a level of kind of empathy, if you can kind of get on someone's wavelength, they will appreciate that, and they will probably be more likely to open up to you. And that's how kind of very sincere friendships start. In terms of, like, what are the social situations that you can get there and do it, I think they mentioned they have college coming up. I mean, I met all my best friends in college, and, you know, I'm really glad I did. And throw yourself into as many social situations as you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And, like, don't be afraid to look dumb. Like, I like, college is so stressful, and it's so, like, you're afraid to be awkward and be, like, you know, like, there's no shame or harm in reaching out and it not working, you know what I mean? And just being like, okay, that didn't work, but not to stop, you know?
I would also definitely not try and, like, calculate what you think people want from you.
No.
I think people appreciate sincerity, and a lot of the times I think people appreciate weirdness, because, like, a lot of the times when meeting new people now, especially, like, I will just be myself, and sometimes that involves being a little weird. But, like, if someone's not gonna be into that part of me, then that's, like, we're not gonna get on anyway, so it's fine.
That's pretty much exactly what I mean. It's just like, don't be afraid to be unapologetically you, and if it doesn't work, then move on. It's fine, just be you with someone else.
But more often than not, I find, like, even if someone is very, very different to you, if people can see what you're like, the decent ones will always be like, oh, this person's kind of themselves, you know. And like I've met people in my life who like I wouldn't even know them super well. Like I might not, like maybe there's someone I'd work with and I wouldn't even have like a big conversation with them, but I can tell that they are just always like themselves and they're not overly concerned what other people think of them, and I think that's never not going to be charming.
Yeah, exactly. And you seem really passionate and really into the stuff you do, so just like engage in your passions, and people like passionate people as well.
Yep.
People like people who like what they do and what they create and who are open about that process as well. Like again in college, it's very easy to kind of close in and kind of about your work and your creative kind of side. It's so much more freeing to be open and conversational about that, and you'll draw people to yourself with that stuff as well.
Absolutely, 100%. And like if you see that passion in other people, like, you know, try and find out about it. And try, like one of my favorite things to do is find out why someone is passionate about something that I don't give a shit about. That's always such an interesting conversation to me. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, like good luck.
Like fair play to you for actually being like, you know what, this group of friends isn't working out, because that's a hard realization to come to, I think.
Yeah, and some people will just put up with it and then it doesn't work out for anyone. I do think it is good that that you're still seeing them as people as well. Like you want a humane, good solution to this thing. You don't want to do something nasty to hurt someone's feelings.
No.
Yeah, like it's you want some advice, we're here giving it.
Yeah,
that's what we do here.
This is the kind of advice we can give. Sometimes we can't give advice, but this kind of stuff.
It's like we always say with the life advice emails. It's like our expertise cuts off at a certain point, and that certain point is like adolescent awkwardness and general life stuff.
Yeah.
And past that, I think like it can be real difficult, because we do get some very heavy emails. Like we do want everyone to be okay, but it's like, we know we're not therapists, and it gets like, it gets hard.
It does.
But we super appreciate all the emails we get. We really do.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We read every single one of them.
Yeah, we do.
Guys, before we wind down here, let's say we do some quick Patreon shoutouts. Brian, I want to become a patron to the Let's Fight a Boss podcast. Where can I do that?
There's this little website called patreon.com, but if you go, this little trick now, /LFAB, brings you to the Let's Fight a Boss Patreon.
Okay, and I can join the Discord.
Yeah, if you pay $3 or more a month, you get to join a Discord.
Would I be able to talk to Neve if I joined the Discord?
If you at Neve, she might respond, she might not, because I know from my experience I get added maybe once a week, and sometimes I'm like, fuck that. But other times I'm like, I feel
like we were doing a pretty good sales pitch there and just gone.
But sometimes I'm like, fuck yeah, and I'll type way too much, and the person is like, okay.
I think there's I always say it, but there is a really nice little community on that Discord.
Those little guys are fucking brilliant.
Yeah, special little guys.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who joined mine and John's streams that we've been doing from the Discord. Like, it's really nice to see all those familiar names kind of pop up.
Yeah, totally. I was like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah, we all recognize your usernames when they pop up. You're all little superstars.
Absolutely.
We're all proud of you.
Yeah.
But we have a section in our Discord called the shoutouts.
Okay, I'm gonna take this first one from Zenkai Jordan. When I fell and no one was there for me, Elfab was there for me. We try our best.
Fuck.
Neve, why don't you take this one from Foxcade?
Damn, I didn't think this would get read on the World's Strongest Podcast. Please make sure... Oh, shit. While you're here, please make sure to check my SoundCloud.
We have to refund
Smiley.
his Patreon right now.
Shit. I'm going to edit it.
And this last one is really good, and it's actually Brian's favourite film quote.
Yeah, this is from Sauce, and Sauce says, "Why so serious?"
Oh shit, that was really scary. It's like the Joker was here.
The Joker.
The Joker.
He'll jork you.
Guys, let's hit him with some loot drops. Okay, so my loot drop here is going to be a video from Joseph Anderson. He actually got a lot of shit for this, and I'm not sure why, but he released a video called Subjectivity is Implied, and all it is about how, like, very few people making videos think they're omnipotent, and if they do, they're wrong, but the idea is that, like, any piece of content, like a video essay that someone puts out, no matter how like emphatic they are, it is just their opinion, and that should be like, everyone should kind of, no one should think that anyone means anything otherwise, you know, because like even like looking at facts, there's a million different subjective ways to interpret facts, and it was a really good video, and like I hope the conversation on this advances, because I feel like a lot of people get kind of confused about that, and then like, yeah, the comment section really kind of caught me off guard. I was not expecting people to kind of take the same ire that it did. I don't think it's necessary. I thought it was a really great video, and I thought it's a necessary conversation to happen with this kind of online video essay stuff. Brian, what do you got?
It is a Japanese crane machine YouTube channel.
Brilliant.
Since coming back from Japan, the crane machine addiction still lingers, and I found this Japanese guy that does guides. They're only in Japanese, but it's just how to get like the best results from a crane machine, and some of the videos are just unreal, like master level techniques. Like there's one where like the figure is on a bar, he's using the crane to pick up the bar to drop the figure down that way.
What?
And then he does this other one where he finds out that with this like particular crane you have as much time as you want, and you can freely move the like crane along the rail. So what he does is he builds up momentum, swings it around, and knocks a bunch of plushes down.
That's insane.
And it's cool to stay up until 2:30 in the morning and watch these videos. That's what I did. I didn't explain this at the start. I'm really, really sick at the moment. That's why I sound even more stuffier than I normally do, and I'm kind of out of it. Watch this channel like I did.
Neve, what do you got?
I got Sarah Z's YouTube channel, and I keep calling her Susie Q, which is JoJo. Base nonsense. But Sarah Z has a really good video about Death of the Author, using J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter series as an example.
Oh, I watched this. Yeah, that was really good.
It was really good, and her whole channel is just great. She's another one about corporate fast food companies using Twitter and memes as a way to market and how they do that, and it's just a really interesting channel. She's pretty new, but every video gets better and better, and it's just someone I think is going to make really good content, and already is. And the other one I have is Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures, and these are like 1.5 to 1 minute clips, and it's like a little animated segment using voice lines from the original trilogy, and it's basically to get kids to know who these characters are, but the animation on it is beautiful. It's kind of this anime inspired, really flowy look to things, where people like, I hope the animators and the designers had fun on this, because it sure looks like they did. Like, there isn't really that much going on in terms of narrative, but just looking at these to see how nice they are is really fun. The Star Wars Kids channel is blocked in Ireland, but other people have uploaded them, so they are definitely worth watching.
I have one other little bonus one, and it's a video by Michael Saiba, who's a really cool YouTuber, did a really good video about Nier Automata, but this video is about Street Fighter 2, the live action movie, and the kind of story behind it, and it is just a really interesting little look at what is regarded as one of the worst movies ever, but I really love that. And it's a really nice little video, and it's like surprisingly heartfelt at the end, and yeah, I think this guy's a really good channel.
I think I watched that video too. That's yeah,
it's good. It's Raul Julian.
Yeah. Raul Julia.
Yeah.
And about his two sons that love Street Fighter, and that's why he did the role.
Well, I feel like you just gave away the emotional heart of the video there, Brian, but sure.
You can cut that bit out. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Guys, that is going to do it, and this is going to be our last regular episode of the year. We're still working things out a little bit, but yeah, not long after Stephen's Day, we should have our Game of the Year up. We'll be announcing it like on social media and stuff, and so there won't be anything between now and then. But if you have never joined us for a Game of the Year, you got to see this fucking bloodbath.
Yeah, we're not journalists, and we are going to use zero correct language in our descriptions for why we think this game good.
So the way it works is we get all the games we played this year, construct a giant list, and then it's like, okay, Brian, I need you to cut a game. And so Brian picks a game to cut, then Neve does, then I do, and we go around in a weird triangle and until no one wants to cut anything anymore and things get really tense and hard. Or someone just picks something very popular straight away and we just fight about it for an entire year afterwards. It is intense. It's a really, really good time. Do you think you guys are going to play any games between now and our Game of the Year episode that we're not going to get a chance to talk about on the podcast? Because I have Iconoclast lined up.
I have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
That too?
Probably Hitman 2.
Hitman 2. Oh, really? Huh. Because I've been thinking of playing that. But yeah. Guys, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the mellow part of the podcast.
This is getting pretty mellow.
This is we took some horse tranquilizers. It's kicking in.
Yeah, it took a while, but good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Yeehaw.
Of course I'm on point. I'm driving a Porsche over the floorboards, over the 4 points, wearing the 4 tours, getting an abortion and a divorce at the same time. The hair is supporting. Look what I'm playing.